that. And I think we're good. And now I just need everybody to complain about, well, they can't hear me or they can't see us or whatever problems they have now. That's where we'll get next. Oh yeah, start the thing. Sorry. We always have a little YouTube playlist over there by Jay playing, and I set it up. In this case, it's just a bunch of stuff about Baraka, Kano, some of the stuff you did, like when you were doing motion capture for the first game, like on those steps, that video of you that's, you trying to, you keep falling off the steps when you're doing that. So, so that just that kind of stuff, or people playing through as one of the characters. So, yeah. So I'm just going to wait and let everybody get back on here. And then Robbie should be on shortly. I'd imagine he'll be calling in soon. So I want to wait till he's on before I start. So usually we don't do that. Usually we call him live. So he's probably not totally sure that he needs to get back in. Let me let him know. 1 second. Tell him we're waiting for you. And he's right down the street. He's not too far from you, right? Where are you at?
Oh yeah, he's probably about 30 miles away.
Okay. Well, I'm 300 and some odd, so comparatively, it's not too far.
Where are you again?
We're just outside of Flint, Michigan. In fact, we're right downtown Flint today. I live in Flushing, and Jay lives in Swartz Creek, which is we're suburbs of Flint, so about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, probably.
Something like that.
Not too god-awful far.
Yeah. So, not too god-awful far. So,
and we don't have the traffic. We don't have the Chicago traffic up here.
Yeah, no.
So.
And you were just there yesterday. Like you were there from Sunday till Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an office. I work for a security company, and one of our offices are in, it's a smaller franchise. We have one here in Michigan, and then we have an office in Northbrook. And I was
Northbrook, yeah.
Yeah, I was up in Northbrook for a couple days.
That's even further than him. Who you said Robbie, right? Lives in
That's right.
Yeah.
He actually works at Logan. Robbie works at Logan Arcade. So
yeah, Logan Square. Northbrook's even further than that.
Yeah, we went down. I actually went down and hung out with Robbie on Monday night down at his work at Logan Arcade. It's like I think it's like 2 or 3 blocks from the old Fireside. So it's not too far from there.
Have you guys been to Galloping Ghost?
Oh yeah, we were there. Right? Yeah. We were there just 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
We stopped on the way to Midwest.
On the way to Midwest the day before, that Thursday, we stayed there the entire day. So
okay, cool.
Yeah. Next time we'll let you know we're in town. You can come hang out and play on their broken Mortal Kombat machines right now. None of them work quite right.
Yeah, we actually just popped in over there a couple weeks ago just for like a small signing, and Doc put us in the corner somewhere, and then he shoved a bunch of machines in the way, and none of the Mortal Kombat machines were available for anyone to play.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Which was kind of weird. I'm like, what if I want to play somebody?
Yeah, we were talking about that when we were there, because Robbie's really proficient at Mortal Kombat 2, and I'm a better, like, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 player is my better game. And we were supposed to play each other in both, and we couldn't. Like, we were supposed to have like this big face off, and we couldn't because the controls on both of them were just not quite right. So, which is amazing because you're the biggest arcade, and also you're in the city where the games were made and all this stuff, and it's just like, anyway.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is he? Let me see. I don't think he's on yet. Robbie, are you on yet? I don't see him.
Oh yeah, because we can't see anybody other than Rich.
Yeah. John, are you there? I'm sure.
Here, and I do not see Robbie on the grid. So.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'll give him a couple more minutes and then we'll get started here. I don't want to waste too much time, but I'm just I'm not sure. What did he say he was going to do?
Grabbing some food.
Okay.
When you go down the street and get something to eat? Just went to the fridge or something.
Jeez Louise. Well, he'll call in when he calls in. Robbie's good at just jumping in. So I'm going to give him 2 minutes, and then if he's not here in 2 minutes, we'll start. So, but yeah.
While we're waiting, Shepis says nobody puts Divizio in the corner. So
yeah, it's true. So did you got that? We'll talk about it a little bit, but you got your NBA Jam game there signed, right?
Oh yeah, from Tim, yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Good. Yeah, I think I have a poster for that. Remember you were talking about how there's a poster and there's no poster in the game that you have?
Yeah, the poster's not inside.
Yeah.
So
I'll have to find and see if I have one.
oh yeah, cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, Jay collects records really, but like myself, Robbie, and John all collect video games pretty passionately. So like we always have a bunch of junk laying around and parts and bits and pieces and stuff. So, but
What kind of records?
Uh,
What kind of records you got?
a little of everything. Most of it's, I mean, I'm more into like probably rock and punk stuff. So like my most recent, I'm trying to think my most recent records I picked up.
got Smash. No, you already had Smash Pumpkins.
I got a repress of Thrice Illusion of Safety. I don't know if you know Thrice. I don't even know what I got recently. I'm trying to even think. I'm terrible.
I'm also a record guy, and I'm trying to think of what I've recently bought, and it's like I don't know. I can't remember. How many do you have now? A couple hundred?
Yeah, a few hundred.
Yeah.
You ever heard of like Cave In? They're kind of like.
Well, I used to DJ in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
So I still have my vinyl, and I have one Technics 1200 turntable left.
Oh, it's a good one to have.
Nice.
Oh, it's like still like one of the best. But yeah, I still have a lot of my vinyl, and I used to mix music, in the clubs.
Yeah, sure.
In Chicago, in the like the industrial dance scene. So
Yeah.
I bought most of my records from Wax Tracks.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Right over on Lincoln, huh?
On Lincoln, and
Robbie's back, by the way.
I was there. I was there in the heyday of it all. I would go.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Yeah, like if I was in the store, like Al Jorgensen would be there.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Nice.
From Ministry.
Yeah.
And,
I was about to say the Ministry thing. Chris Connolly was always working on the Reckless counter when I go there the past 15, 20 years.
Yep. And when I was at Wax Tracks, Chris Connolly would ring me up, and
Nice.
he does like the Revco stuff. And what else? Frank Nardiello. I'm friends with him on Facebook. Frank used to ring me up. I don't know if you know who he is, but Frank Nardiello, he is the lead singer of My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Cool.
Frank would ring me up, and we would just shoot the shit about like music, and I remember
Nice.
Chris Connolly would ring me up, and it was just a great place to be when you were like looking for some cool stuff. I've seen Front 242
Yeah.
in
Wow.
concert.
Nice,
Nights Are Ebb I've seen in concert. Yeah, I mean I've seen like Depeche Mode four times. New
I've seen
Order
them once.
New Order 3 times.
Wow.
Nice.
Very
New
nice.
Order with Peter Hook, not
Oh, wow.
yeah. With Peter Hook. I know he's doing like Peter Hook and the Light. I think he's touring now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he kind of does his own thing, but he's not that good of a singer.
No,
So,
I met him like 10 years ago. He was doing a book signing a friend of mine wanted to go to. So I ran in there to talk to him, and I didn't have anything. I hadn't bought the book or whatever. So we were at like a pub next door, and we wound up like taking a plate, like this little like saucer plate. I told the lady, I'm like, I'm taking this plate because we're going to have Peter Hook sign it. And she goes, I don't know who that is, and I don't give a damn. Take the plate. So he signed it, and I gave it to a buddy, a mutual friend of ours. So yeah, just he seemed like a really nice guy. So
oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And he pretty much created that signature sound with his bass.
Yes. Yep. So
Yeah.
well,
So you bet you didn't know that about Kano.
No, I did not.
I was gonna say we're gonna end up talking all night about music, so
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
That's fine.
I have a lot of vinyl that is, I mean, I swear, like every single one that you pull out on the shelf is like out of print.
Oh, sure.
Like,
Mhm.
like, I mean, like I like hand selected just, cause my ear, like when I like a certain song, I don't know why this is, but I would pick a song and then I would try to find it, and someone would say, "Oh, that's out of print." Like,
Yeah.
why does my ear keep going to the songs that are very hard to find? I don't know, but I ended up buying them all.
Question for you. So, with you being a giant record collector nerd and into like industrial and punk and stuff, I'm assuming know Mike Vinicor, who was like a playtester at MK3.
Oh, I know Mike. Oh yeah, I know Mike.
He's a giant
just-
record nerd.
Oh
Giant
yeah,
record
oh yeah,
nerd.
oh yeah, yeah. Mike
Like
showed
walls
me
and
his,
walls and walls.
Yep.
It's like beyond insane.
Yep, he showed me his room with all the vinyl that he's
Yeah.
working on in that room. But because he works for Stern, and we did a
Yeah.
show, and he was there,
Yeah.
and then I've known him for a long time, and then but what's weird is we never knew we were into like the same kind of music and stuff. So
You just worked together, and then you just kind of
Yeah,
made that connection
exactly.
later.
Right, yeah, and then we're like,
Mhm.
"What? You're into that? I didn't know you were into that." You know, Skinny Puppy and Frontline Assembly, and
Yeah.
you know all these like Pan Cow and all these
Nice.
Belgian bands and stuff from the '80s, and like I actually have a recording of Front 242. A friend of mine snuck in a tape cassette back in the day, and oh man, it was
Nice.
great. It was like probably 1987.
Bootlegging? You were Kano's a bootlegger?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me based on what I read about the guy. So, anyway, all right. I think we're ready to get started. Robbie's on. So, I'm going to do a little intro and then I will introduce you and we'll just go from there.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. 1 second. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Welcome back to the Lost Joystick Network, episode 47.
You really need to figure out where you're going to put that.
You should have just said it was 46 for his birthday.
So, this is Mike, joined as always by my co-host Jay, and that voice that you hear is Rich Divizio, a name that you should know. If you are a fan of anything that we do around here, especially as it pertains to video games and Mortal Kombat, Rich is the actor who portrayed Kano, Baraka, Cabal, Quan Chi, Shang Tsung. If you've ever heard of any of these properties or characters, so Rich, thanks for joining us. How you doing, bud?
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm good. I'm home, so I'm happy.
Very good. Very good.
And I'm hanging out with guys that are cool that like all the same shit that I like. So
I'll take that as a compliment and thank you very much. So
yeah,
definitely. And I will also say we, normally as part of the show, we would call in Robbie and John. They're actually on right now, so you'll hear them dip in and out as we talk. Also, we will be foregoing like the standard structure of the show. Really, this is going to be an open discussion with our friend Rich about all things Mortal Kombat and Rich Divizio. And that's pretty much it. So, awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thanks for having me. Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course.
Who's that?
Yes.
Who goes?
I thought you were talking to me, but obviously you're talking to the Rich. But this is Robbie.
Hey,
Yep.
Robbie.
I'm a local Chicagoan and Mortal Kombat fan since the first one ever came out. So
Awesome. Thank you.
nice
Thank you
to
very
talk
much.
to you.
So I'm going to
Thank you.
say,
Great to talk to you.
yep, I'm going to start this by saying I've been a fan of Mortal Kombat since it came out. Jay and I would parade around the arcades back in the day. And I will tell you that my least favorite character in the first game was Kano. I hated Kano so much. Oh, I hated
Only
him.
reason why, though, is because he was the worst to play against because he would always kick our ass.
That's right. That is right. It was very
Oh,
difficult.
The AI, you mean?
Yes. So, but
Oh,
anyway.
okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I remember that they took Kano and Sonya out because the operator data said that they were the least chosen characters. They took them out for the second one.
I don't know anything about.
I heard about that too, but I don't care.
I was going to ask you if you cared. Were you like salty about it at first? Like, oh man, I took out my guy.
because I'm Baraka too.
That's right.
That's right.
And
was that a consolation prize they offered you? Or
Yeah.
was it just-
well, we'll get to all that. So I will say, that you went and completely redeemed yourself by being Baraka because I absolutely love him. He was my favorite player or character in Mortal Kombat 2. So that's right.
Yeah.
The Tarkatan or whatever his species is.
yeah.
So. But so tell me a little bit about yourself and, what is it that you say you do around here?
My name is Rich Divizio, and for the past 30 years, I've been involved in a video game, just a little one that you might have heard of, called Mortal Kombat. But I play Kano, Baraka, Cabal, and Quan Chi. Pretty much that's how I introduce myself. we'll say Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat Mythologies game.
Mhm.
But pretty much when I introduce myself, Kano, Baraka, Kamal, and Quan Chi.
Yeah.
Those are the characters that pretty much people recognize me for. And yeah, 30 years. I think we're even on to 30 years of Mortal Kombat 2 now.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I'm just, people will ask questions like, did you ever think that, something like this that you were involved in would last that long? And I'm thinking like, it's like, I can't believe that and it's still going.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mortal Kombat 12, they'll have that too. So
Yeah. It's like The Simpsons. It never stops. It just keeps coming out.
yeah. I mean, yeah. And we were pretty much like a huge part of, the rating system change.
Oh yeah.
I remember at the time.
I remember that well.
Yeah, they hit us up. They were like, "Hey, listen, don't talk to anyone, and don't give your opinion about violence." And most of the time, that like when we do conventions and sort, people will ask us, and we'll just say, there's violence in television, in film. There always has been. There always will be. But we always put out there, to the parents that have their kids, it's like you just have to parent. And, teach your kid, right from wrong. And, yeah, I'm the guy who rips the heart out, but, I'm not going to go and do it like in real life,
What if somebody cuts you off in Chicago traffic, though?
Yeah, well, sometimes I do think about it. Oh, my God.
Yeah. We
used to play Dungeons and Dragons when we were kids, but, we didn't run out into the street with, like, swords and stuff. Although I do remember when there was a Dungeons and Dragons movie, there was some sort of thing where some kids went and did some weird crap.
Yeah.
And then that's when everyone came out. They're like, "Oh, the violence!"
Yep.
And and thinking, just watch your kids, teach them right from wrong.
I think nowadays, and what it did is it was this harbinger of ratings, right? So like prior to a lot of that stuff, there were no ratings for video games. And I understand, like looking back now, I'm like, okay, like you're a parent and you walk in and your kid says, "I want Mortal Kombat," and you have no idea what it is. You couldn't look at the front of it and go, okay, this is for older kids. You know what I mean? Like it was that type of thing where you could look at a movie and go, this is rated R. You know what I mean? So I understand that part of it now, but at the time I was like, this is stupid, So like I'm not, like you said, I'm not gonna run out and like stab a guy with my blade arms or whatever it was. So I haven't yet, at least. I don't know, Jay, did you on the way here? I know you hadn't until today. So
We're not going to talk about that.
okay, yeah, that's fine. We won't bring it up anyway.
It's a funny thing that you bring this up, and I'm thinking to myself, like, so back then in the 80s, because when I was coming up during that time, there was like pinball was a little bit before my time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do remember as a kid, I was at a bowling alley and a kid said, he's like, "You got to come here." He's like, "Check this out." And there was a Space Invaders machine. And we had never seen anything like that before. And I think next to it was Asteroids.
Mm-hmm.
And but if you go back to those games at that time, everything was just like little rocket ships or
They were one panel games. It was like a single screen.
Or
simple.
Pac-Man's like a cute little yellow guy that's eating dots, or like, and I'm trying to think, like, I think probably the most scariest game around that time of development, like that was getting, I'm not saying it was violent, I'm just saying something that was just out there, was like Sinistar. Like you'd hear that voice. As a kid, you hear on the machine, the Sinistar machine. I forgot what he would say or something, but machines were getting more and more
advanced,
crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know,
more interactive.
Yeah,
there's like a giant leap when you got to the 90s where everything was like not just little dots and spaceships anymore. It could be like realized characters and sound bites.
Right.
Yeah, it's
right.
digitized graphics.
What was the first really? Was it Street Fighter to really do like martial arts? No, or Pit Fighter?
No, not that. I think it might have been Karate Champ.
Yeah.
So
Karate Champ still looked like
That's
real
team.
basic.
The question
it
is
was
not
like-
who was
yeah.
first. The question is who was best first, and that is definitely Street Fighter, right? Like Street Fighter was the harbinger. Like they brought it all in. Like that's what I think. Not just that, but that was like the precursor to it for everything. But those other fighting games were not as interactive. You couldn't have like special moves per character. It was just basically like a button mashing thing. Like you'd walk up and you'd hope that you hit the other guy before he hit you, and there was really no strategy to it. Where a game like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, or whatever it was, brought this element of competition, and where you're like, okay, I know something this guy doesn't, or I can execute this way in a way that another person can't, or whatever it is. It was this test of skill as opposed to just like luck, which I think a lot of those early fighting games were.
Calculated inputs instead of just mashing and like hoping you're beating up your opponent.
So taking you back to around that time period, let's go back to about like 1991, maybe.
Yeah.
So picture like Tobias at Midway Games working on, I forgot which one was first and second, Smash TV or Total Carnage.
Yeah.
I forgot
Smash
which one
TV was first.
Yep.
Okay,
Smash,
so then
Smash,
Total
yeah, Smash
Carnage,
TV first.
and then after that, he had to work on a game like the third game, and that was probably right around when Midway was probably thinking like, we have to come up with something to blow away this Street Fighter thing.
Yeah.
So, and he was given the task to do that, and then paired up with Ed Boon and to be the programmer, because I think Ed was working on some football game or something at the time.
Super high impact.
Yeah, and I had just come back from filming the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I was a foot soldier, along with Daniel Pacina, and Ho-Sung Pak was Raphael. And so we had just gotten home, and I've known John Tobias since I was probably 15 years old. So, and now I'm like 22, and I knew he was working at Midway, but I did get the call, and the phone rang. I was living at my dad's house, and my dad said some guy named John. I said okay, so I picked up the phone. John's like, hey, I'm working at Midway Games, right? I said, yeah. What's going on? He's like, have you ever heard of the game Street Fighter? I said, well, I've heard of it, but I don't really know too much about it. He's like, it's like a fighting game, characters on the screen, they're kicking each other, whatever. And so he just said, he's like, but I have an idea. I want to try something. But even before he said that, I said, John, I said, you know me, I said I like games like Donkey Kong and Pac-Man, and those were like my games, but he's like, I want to try something. Do you think you can get the guys together? And when he said the guys, that meaning that, he knew all of us, which was myself, Daniel Pacina, Carlos Pacina, Ho-Sung Pak, even Anthony Marquez. We all grew up together since we were like 13 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, at that time, let me see, I'm about 22. So Danny was 10 years older than us. So he's 32, I'm 22. And I called Danny, and this is weird to think this, because I think this every once in a while. The phone had a cord on it.
Yeah.
There were no cell phones.
Well,
It was a phone on the table, with the rotary, or it was a push button, I'm not sure. But, it was like this black phone in my dad's house. It had the cord on it. You could only go so far with it, or otherwise you got to put your fingers in the back and take it with you. you
will. It's funny because when you say something,
bathroom,
but when you
for privacy,
if you have one in there, I would say it's funny to think about a time where somebody else would answer your phone for you, or you would, someone would call one number looking for another person. That doesn't really happen anymore unless you're calling a business. You don't call somebody and go, "Hey, is Rich there?" It's John, right? And they're like, "Why'd you call my cell phone? Just call Rich." Like, it's just a different era. So yeah.
Oh, it's such a different time. And then I ended up calling Danny, and I said, "Hey, John wants us to come into Midway tomorrow, and he wants to try something." So that was the start of history.
You guys just walked in blind, like trusting his judgment on the game.
Well, we walked in, and there like a lot of people will say, like when they meet us, they're like, "So did you go through like an agency or anything like that?" Or I'm like,
no, he asked us to come
John
in.
called me. Yeah, he just called me and said, "Hey, come on in. So we're
I
like,
mean,
okay,
that
we'll go.
midway,
You know?
midway was what, like 5 guys at the time?
Yeah, well,
Six guys, like that team.
yeah, the video side was, yeah,
Yeah.
but they still had the pinball across the street. But
Yeah.
Yeah, Roger Sharp was still there, and by the way, those are Roger Sharp's kids, who I'm grabbing when you see.
Oh, really?
That ad?
In the
Oh,
ad?
wow.
In that advertisement
Yeah.
where I'm Kano and I'm grabbing the kid with the blue shirt, I think.
Yeah.
Nice.
Those kids
are
look
Roger,
terrified.
Zach Sharp, Zach Sharp, and forgot his brother's name, but that's them.
That's awesome. That's a
and
good history
one
tidbit.
little thing that maybe you guys don't know, and some people, I've done this in interviews before. So Raiden is in that advertisement with me. It was just a promo sheet that was supposed to be for the trade shows, and that's actually not Carlos Pesina.
It's a different rating.
That's actually Sal DeVita.
Oh,
Who plays
Nightwolf. Yeah.
Nightwolf.
Yeah. So Carlos,
My
couldn't make
favorite.
it that day.
Yeah.
I think he was working or something, or he had his girlfriend or something. I don't really know, but he couldn't make it that day. So Sal dressed as Raiden. So that's actually Sal in the costume,
No.
in the machine. So
That's one of my favorite slicks or advertisements or whatever you want to call it. It's just that picture, and that kid that you're grabbing you're just like, and the kid is like, like he's terrified.
What we did was, we did a few like trial runs or whatever, and
grab that kid a bunch.
They were just like, grab them or whatever, and they had the camera going. And I told the camera guy, I said, I'm just going to surprise him. So then I just, did like a grab like that. And the kid was like, whoa. But they were able to get it. So
that's awesome.
I was doing my acting.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love it. So it's an indelible image in my brain. So
I mean, Mike has an empty cabinet in his garage. We try to recreate that.
We talked about now.
We actually did.
Yeah.
We did a few years ago in Nashville at Game Terminal.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. I think Rob Ooze, he put the machine out for us, and it was awesome. It was really, I swear the machine was small though, because I couldn't really fit in there. I think Daniel Pesina and I were in the machine, but it seemed really small. Either that or we're fatter.
There's not a lot of room inside those things. I've worked in them.
He probably stuffed you in one of those arcade one-ups. You didn't realize it.
Yeah, the repro.
I was thinking about that. Right.
We actually talked about remaking that picture once I got that. The cabinet's still empty. The side art is faded, but I'm like, we talked about I want to remake that picture. If Robbie ever comes into town, which John's visited a number of times, still waiting on Robbie to show up. But if he does, I think we gotta remake that. So hey, because I had a question. You mentioned the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. And one of the questions that we got that I had, that mentioned was you had said in an interview that you had to go to Jim Henson's creator shop, right? It was in London, I think, or something like that. Or no, what was it? Tell us about that.
So the story goes like this. This is way before Mortal Kombat. We're talking probably 1990.
Yeah. Yep.
And Daniel Pesina, Ho-Sung Pak, and myself are in Lincolnwood, Chicago. In Lincolnwood, Illinois. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just a suburb of Chicago. And we're a few blocks from Ho-Sung Pak's house at a local park. And we were probably working out, doing our wushu, which is our kung fu that we do. And probably worked out for about 5 hours, and we're getting hungry. And we like to go to Wendy's a lot. Back in those days. So we went back to Ho-Sung's house first and put all our gear away. And the phone rang. Another phone that was connected to the wall.
What a world. What a time.
Oh, what a world. What a world. So it rings, but I'm starving. And I told Ho-Sung, I'm like, let it ring. I'm like, just let it ring. I'm like, let's go. I'm just, my stomach is growling. And he decides to answer. He's like, I'll answer it. So he answers it. And, his mom was always like, you don't step on my carpet with shoes on.
Yeah.
So I already had my shoes on, and in the foyer it was all tile. So I'm standing there and I'm going, okay, this is going to be a long time because he's on the phone. Now I got to take my shoes off so I can go back and sit on the couch and relax because I was standing there with my shoes on in the foyer, but it got too long. So I head back to the couch, take my shoes off. He's on the phone. He won't even talk to us. He's just like deep in conversation. We don't know who the hell he's talking to. He's talking to Pat Johnson, who's the stunt coordinator for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and who had done like the Karate Kid films. But we don't know that.
Right.
We don't know that at all.
You're hungry.
So I'm starving. And Danny's just sitting there on his cell phone. Nah, he's
Yeah, I was
not.
gonna say, wait a minute.
There were no cell phones
What?
at that time.
I was like, it was in a
I wanted
bag.
to see if you guys would catch that.
I was gonna say it was in a bag connected to his car, maybe at that point, but maybe.
Yeah, I wanted to see if you guys would get that.
Yeah.
Oh, if we had cell phones, that's what we'd be doing. We'd be quiet as hell.
Yeah.
We'd go like this, you know. But no, we were like, oh, let's go.
Yeah.
So he gets off the phone. Ho-Sung looks at me and he goes, "You'll never believe who that was." And we're like, "Oh, let's go. Let's go eat."
I gotta eat.
He goes, "That was the stunt coordinator for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film." He says, "They want me to go to Jim Henson's Creature Shop in London and be there in 1 week to play Raphael." So Daniel and I are sitting there going, "You're getting us in the movie, right?"
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You know, like to something. So Ho-Sung was the one that went to London. He had to get fitted. His body had to be molded with like some whatever, but he had to be fitted for the Raphael costume.
Sure.
So a few weeks go by and, you know, we went back to our day jobs and I was working at the main post office in Chicago, 433 West Van Buren.
Damn,
It was
downtown.
It was just a summer job on Canal Street.
Okay.
$5 an hour.
Nice.
$5 an hour in 1990. Oh man. And I was on my cell phone. No, just
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna use that as a joke all the time. No cell phones. So I get home and Danny calls me, another phone connected to the wall.
Yeah.
And he says, Ho-Sung called. Another phone connected to the wall at Danny's house. I'm sorry.
I don't even know how these things
There's a lot
work.
of phone cord here.
Yeah.
But this is how it is, you know. I hate the phone. Anyway, so he says Ho-Sung wants us to be in Wilmington, North Carolina, like tomorrow or the day and a half from now or something, if we want to be foot soldiers or try out to be foot soldiers. So, yep. The next day I did have to go to work, but I walked into the office and I told them I'm leaving. I'm going to go be in a movie.
Yeah.
So Danny picked me up there and we drove to Wilmington, North Carolina in his little Suzuki Sidekick.
Oh, wow.
Like drove 20 something hours or whatever and through the mountains. And we get there and, we get there at probably 5 a.m, something like that, maybe 6. How do we get in touch with Ho-Sung? We have
Pay
to
phones?
pull over. Yes, we had to pull over in the dark of night, like in Wilmington, on some little side street and go to a payphone.
Yeah.
We put quarters in there and we call the hotel in which he's staying.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, we're close now, we think.
Yeah.
What hotel are you at? Could you patch us through to Ho-Sung Pak? Ho answers the phone. He's sleeping. He's like, yeah, just go here, go here. So we end up pulling into the parking lot. Ho-Sung's out there by the front door. We walk in. It's like 6 a.m. No, it might have been maybe about 5:30 in the morning. And he still wanted like that hour of sleep. But we had to be at the studio by 7 a.m. So I got no sleep.
Yeah.
And I have low seniority because Danny's older.
Yeah.
So Danny got to sleep in the other bed with Ho because it was like a queen or something, and I got to sleep on the floor.
Yeah. That's
that's just the way it goes.
Chain of command. Yep.
Chain of command. So I'm tired. We get up. We drive to like Carol Co Studios, which was near the airport in Wilmington. And I'm all excited because I'm like 22 years old and it's my birthday, by the way.
Oh.
September 6th.
September 6th, yeah.
Yeah, and we pull up to like this little like guard booth with like the gate that goes up, and I've always wanted to be in movies. So for me to be able to see like a guard booth, everybody knows, Paramount Pictures,
Yeah, sure.
or the guard booth. That's where you got to go through.
You got to get through the gate
to get onto the lot.
Yep.
And I'm like, I see the guard booth, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going in here.
Yep.
Like I have clout.
Traversing to the other side. I
feel
can
like
get
this
through.
is real. This is actually real.
This is really happening. Exactly. So we go in there, and then there's all these martial artists, like, doing like all these kicks and stuff and nunchucks and in the parking lot. And Ho Sung walks in. And Ho Sung's like this already, like with Pat Johnson. So he goes in there, and he tells Pat, yeah, I got my 2 guys out here. They also want to try out for foot soldiers. And I think at this point, I didn't know there was no guarantee that we weren't gonna.
Right.
That we were gonna be foot
You're
soldiers.
trying out? Excuse me, we just drove here from
So when all
Chicago.
I know. So what happened was Danny's done martial arts a lot longer than me. So if I were to take you into the room, it was like a small part of the studio. I went in there. The director was there. I think the guy from like what's that company? Golden Harvest.
Okay.
Golden Harvest, yeah.
Golden Harvest Pictures was
yeah.
there, like the president or whatever, and like Pat Johnson and director and all this stuff, and it's so cool, and they're sitting at like these tables, and Pat Johnson comes out, and if anyone doesn't know who Pat Johnson is, if you've seen The Karate Kid and you've seen the referee with the red shirt on that says referee, and he's telling Ralph Macchio and Billy Zabka, to break, and then they fight. That referee is actually Pat Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Pat. He's got a mustache, and so he was friends with Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee, and all that. So
Nice.
so Pat comes up to me and Daniel, and he's like, okay, so I want to see how your reactions are. Like if I throw a punch, how do you have to like react, and everyone had to stretch their neck out and all that, so you don't get whiplash and all that. I'm 22. I've never done this before. I mean, we've done our kung fu stuff where we did like play fighting and
Sure.
stuff like that. So, I kind of had a hang of it, but Danny did his first, where a punch was thrown, he had to react and everything like that. And then Pat Johnson's like, good job. Then it was my turn, and I didn't do that well. So like my reactions were off. So I think Ho Sung like put in a good word for me and said, don't worry about it.
It's a package deal. You get both, it's all of us or none of us.
He ain't going back home. So, and so that's how we both got the foot soldier job. And
awesome.
then we rented like a house in North Carolina there. And then whatever money we made, we just paid rent there. And
sure.
We had like a party pad.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was like we were there for 3 months on location. And on the weekends, we hung out at Wrightsville Beach. And
yeah.
It was a party every weekend, and
at 22,
I got introduced to Hooters. Hooters was a place that Illinois didn't have Hooters.
Yeah,
yet. So,
that was a regional delicacy.
Every day we ate there, lunch, dinner.
I'm sure you did.
So Kano's favorite restaurant is Hooters. Got it.
No.
Well, not anymore, but
I say. So that actually brings me to a trivia question I'm going to ask the people that are on the phone. Not you, because you answered this, but it was a long time ago. You might not even remember what your answer was. What is Kano's favorite food? This is for
White
Jay.
Castle.
You're not supposed to tell them. They were supposed to
I'm
answer.
going to go with White Castle.
I'm sorry.
It was White Castle. Yes. Yeah, that was a question for them. But
Thanks,
that's okay.
buddy. I appreciate it.
It was White Castle. So yes, that's
Helping me out.
Yeah. So Jay, you win. You get it. So you've talked about Daniel Pacina and Ho and all those guys. How did you get to know them? Like, was it just a matter of being in the same like martial arts classes, or how did you guys get to know each other back in the day before all of this?
So it's funny. And I was thinking about this idea for a panel. There's a show that is in Columbus, Ohio, that will be coming up soon. I think there's a Korg show or
Torg.
a Torg show.
So, hey, I'll be there and
Yeah.
I'll be one of the ambassadors talking about the old video game systems, and my set of NES games will be on display there. So I'll see you there, bud.
Well, I don't know yet. Is it the Torg show or
Torg.
the Korg show?
Well, there's two. It depends on what it is. Korg is earlier. Torg is November. T with
Okay, so yeah, the Torg show is the one when I might have my vacation date around.
Okay.
It's like November 11th or 12th.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I tried contacting them, but no one has contacted me back yet. But that might be a cool show to do. And I think some of the people that are already there, like the guy who does the voice for Mario,
Charles Martinet will be there. Yep,
yeah,
that's right.
And some of the people that are there did the show in Kansas with us, but
Okay.
I don't have a contact for that show.
I
so
gotcha.
you know someone.
I got you.
know, so
I've
have
talked to
them
the
contact
organizer
me.
yesterday. I
Okay.
just talked to him, so I
Yeah.
got you on that.
Oh, okay, appreciate it. But my point is, in Columbus, Ohio, is my friend Craig Clifford,
Okay.
who and his sister Chrissy. I've known them since 6th grade, and my friend Craig, he is a doctor, and he's also an alternative musician
Mhm.
who has a lot of analog machines
Mhm.
that he makes a lot of industrial music.
Yeah.
But,
Old
I've
synths
known
and
Craig
stuff?
Since,
Yeah.
yeah, I've known him since, like I said, 6th grade, and I would love to have him at a panel because he's never been on board on not I don't want to say on board. He's never been on a panel with us, and he did kung fu with us growing up. And the way the story goes is like this: it's 6th grade. Craig brings to school a pair of nunchucks. And I played a lot of baseball when I was younger, and I was not into martial arts.
Mhm.
And I said to Craig, I said, because he was spinning these things around and doing a really cool job of it. And I said, where'd you learn how to do that? And he goes, well, from my friend Danny. And I'm like, who's this guy Danny? So we're how old are we? What are we about? What, like 11 or 12 maybe? Wow, yeah, probably like 11 or 12.
Yeah, around that age.
And yeah, and he says from my friend Danny. And no, yeah, maybe it was 7th grade. I don't know. Well, I've known Craig since 6th grade, but maybe 7th. Yeah,
About
somewhere
12.
around there. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, I've known Danny for a long time, 12 maybe. So Craig says, he's like, I'll introduce you to him. So I go and I meet this guy Danny, and this guy is Danny Pacina. And then I meet his brother Carlos Pacina, and we all lived around each other, so just blocks away. So Craig was taking kung fu from Danny. Danny was kind of doing let's just say like a side hustle.
Yeah.
Teaching kung fu on the side at his local park, and he taught Craig. Danny's real school martial arts, where he was training officially, was the Northern Shaolin 7-Star Praying Mantis Kung Fu School on the north side of Chicago, which was even further north than Logan Square. It was probably up near Broadway. It was on Broadway at the time.
Wait, what neighborhood were you guys all living near each other in?
Well, at that time, Carlos and Daniel lived in McKinley Park.
Oh, okay.
And I lived in Brighton Park. And
Okay.
Ho-Sung Pak lived in Lincolnwood. No. He lived near Fluky's around Western and Toohey.
Oh, that's way up there.
And,
All right.
yeah, and then Anthony Marquez, who plays Kung Lao,
Mhm.
he lived right behind Walt Disney School near Irving Park.
Over and like
the
Lakeshore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So he had the Walt Disney School right behind his house.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and so Daniel met Anthony Marquez, Ho-Sung Pak, and Ho-Sung Pak's brother Ho Young Pak at the 7-Star Praying Mantis School. And so they had been training for a while, and then I just remember going and meeting Danny, and eventually Craig kind of stopped doing the kung fu with us. He kind of went in a different direction. but Craig is the one that was responsible for introducing me to Daniel Pesina. And
Okay.
then Craig lives in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And I have not seen Craig for probably, oh my God, probably 40 years.
Wow.
No, wait, no. I'm sorry. Not 40. He was at my wedding, at my first wedding. So, yeah, that's right. He did show up. They were in town, him and his sister Chrissy. So I probably saw him in 2001.
Wow.
So how many years?
22.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the last time I've seen him. But it would be awesome if he was like, if we do a panel or something,
Yeah.
for him to tell the story. But that's my Columbus, Ohio connection, because that's where he lives now. So that would just be a cool idea to like have him kind of explain. But yeah, I had met Daniel, I met Carlos, and I remember one day Daniel said, I'm going to bring a couple of guys from the north side down over to the south side that are from the Kung Fu school to kind of let's all work out together. So you're talking, oh my God, what are we talking, like 82, 81 maybe? The assembly at McKinley Park of myself, Daniel Pesina, Carlos Pesina, Ho Sung Pak, Anthony Marquez. So you got Kung Lao, you got Liu Kane, you got Johnny Cage, you got all the ninjas, you got Raiden, and you got Kano and Baraka. We're all at a local park. We're young, we're working out, we're doing wushu, we're doing the same style that Jet Li did back in the 80s, before wushu was popular. But yeah, that's kind of how we met. And then eventually through my teen years and Carlos's, and Ho Sung and I are like the same age, and Tony too. Eventually we met John Tobias. Yeah, and it was always just a close knit group of guys.
Yeah, I noticed you didn't mention any women there. No Molinas. Go ahead, Robbie.
I was going to ask, did you meet John Tobias through like punk music and stuff like that? Because I know he was way into that.
So one of the guys that I used to go to grammar school with as well, my friend Andrew Kadelka, really great artist. He also helped draw part of that first Mortal Kombat 1 comic book. I think he did the inking, because Tobias did the penciling. Yeah, and if you look in there, Andy's name is in there, Andrew Kadelka. He did, I think, some ink work on it. But anyway, I've known Andy even before. We're trying to get Andy to do some shows because he's a comic guy. So, but I've known him since probably like 4th grade. But he had a friend named Mark Medina who was a DJ. Andy was a DJ. I was a DJ. Then he met my friend Jesse Della Pena, who's a big Chicago DJ on the north side. And all of us were DJs. And then Jesse was also a writer. And he was a writer is someone who does tagging, like tagging the trains, the graffiti writer.
Oh, yeah.
So, and John Tobias was a writer. And he was in a group called Smog. Smog was, the writers group back during those days. And so they had their own piece book. And, they would do all their pieces in the book, or they would maybe write on a wall. I don't know. I don't want to say nothing. But anyway, yeah. So Jesse Della Pena and Andrew, pretty much, I think I was at Andrew's house one day and Tobias was there. So that's how I met John. Because John was an artist. He drew. Andy draws. But Andy DJs. I DJ. So it was like all these creative people. Not only that, our other friend, Carlos Rowland, he was a break dancer. He was into like graffiti stuff. He also goes by the name of Dzine, Dzine. And just so you know, Tobias and, Carlos Rowland, AKA Design, we were all friends. So John had asked Carlos Rowland to do all of the symbol work for, what is it, MK3? So when you see all
Oh,
those
nice.
little symbols, like the little characters and stuff,
Yeah.
that real cool looks like graffiti writing
The
style.
shirt, the shirt
I have a T-shirt with
You-
that on it.
yeah, the shirt you
Did I
mentioned.
sell
that I
that
wore
shirt
to
too?
yeah, you commented on it. I wore it to Midwest Gaming Classic. It's the post shirt.
Yeah,
for MK3.
I had one and I sold it. I also had the trade show banner that had all of the symbols on it, and
Oh, wow.
I ended up selling it, and it was only available at the trade shows, but I needed money at the time, because
Yeah,
we
sure.
got screwed.
Oh yeah, I know.
So
I know.
yeah. So I didn't have any money; I had to sell it. But that shirt, where did you get the shirt from?
That was an eBay buy, man. There's some guy has like a cache of them on eBay. Like they're authentic, and he's only selling for like I think $20-$30 a pop, size
All right, you'll
large.
have to
That's all he
send
had.
me that. Send me that link. I'll have to.
I
Get
will.
one. But yeah, so Carlos Roland, yeah, he's a big time artist right now. He goes by the name of Design, and he's the one that did it. But you can see that, like our group of friends, like all these creative guys, I talked to Carlos. I talked to Carlos Pacina like almost every day going home from work. I told him, I said, we were kind of like the ILM guys of the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the documentary for Industrial Light and Magic, George Lucas's company. It's on Disney Channel if you want to watch it. It's awesome how they started the company and, with Star Wars and everything. But, we were huge fans, obviously, of Indiana Jones, Raiders, anything Lucas, anything Spielberg, Big Trouble in Little China. All of us guys that I mentioned just now, we were a close-knit group of a bunch of creative guys that eventually we all like worked on Mortal Kombat in some way, shape, or form. And John, was the guy that kind of, called me first on the phone. And then I called those guys and said, hey, let's go do this. And it just snowballed. It was almost like we were just like just creating like not the new Star Wars, but something big.
It was big.
Was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
It seemed as though you guys had a lot of autonomy in terms of injecting your own personality and like talents into this game. Like they just kind of like, yeah, sure. Like you got your friend of graffiti or whatever. You can tag this up or do a drawing like this. Yeah, that's fine. We'll roll with that.
Star Wars is lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
And I always think like, you bring all these people back together again, to do something, like in this day and age would be so cool to do, but, people get big heads and, there's a lot of stuff going on.
There's grudges and there's thises and that's.
There's grudges and disses and it's just, it sucks.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. How about I change the subject completely and say you're from the South Side, right? Is that what I understood? Yes. You guys are on the South Side?
I'm on the Southwest side.
But when you guys, it sounded like you grew up, at least you were in the South Side when you grew up. Is that right? Or would you say?
Yeah, it was the Southwest side.
Okay.
But closer to the city of Chicago.
So were you a Sox fan or a Cubs fan? You said you loved baseball.
Yes.
Yes.
I used to be both. But I grew up a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
We were pretty much on the, well, my dad growing up was always a Cubs fan, and he was, he grew up on Taylor Street in Chicago. So I'm half Italian. So
really, Divizio?
But yeah. So he grew up over there, and they were always Cub fans, and then I used to like the Sox when I played baseball as a kid, and so I've been to Comiskey Park, before it was this whatever the name of the field is.
What's it called now? Like first rate field with like an arrow pointing down or some shit.
Guaranteed rate.
Guaranteed
rate. The stadium.
Guaranteed rate field.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. We talked about how before we came on, I talked about how myself, what the things that we collect, those types of things. Do you collect anything? I mean, you a collector of? I know you said you have records from years ago, but are you an active collector of anything, or what are you into?
Yeah. So, oh boy. I collect a lot of stuff.
Hearts.
Yeah, hearts. No. So, let me just, before I even answer that, I'll take you back to the fact that, Star Wars was a big movie for me when I was a kid. I was 9 when I saw it, and to be a 9-year-old boy watching Star Wars as a kid, and my parents, they never bought me any of the Star Wars figures that, came in the
Kenner
case or
yeah, the
anything
Kenner
like
stuff.
that. But the kid upstairs, he had all the cool stuff, and he had the trash compactor where you and the thing is closing in, and
Yep.
and I had to go upstairs and play that stuff. But when the 90s came, they kind of reissued a lot of the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
And but that stuff is kind of not worth anything anymore, because the 90s seem to have been, even with comic books, they just mass produce this stuff.
Yeah.
And
Really
that's when I started collecting this stuff, because I started feeling like, oh, I got to get this stuff. I got to get it, and I would have 3 of each. I would buy 1 to open, 1 to sell, and 1 to display in the packaging.
Yeah.
It got pretty, it got expensive.
So yeah.
But
He's
the
one of
bugs,
us.
yes, I'm one of you guys. So, I got the bug, and I got the bug bad, because I'm one of those guys that's there's the variants. I'm in trouble.
Hey, man.
Somebody help
You're
me.
preaching. You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah,
Here,
you're
man.
talking.
Sorry.
You're among.
Check this out.
You're among
So check
friends
this
here.
So check this out. So, when I was married, I had 2 girls. Okay, 2 girls. I didn't have boys. So, and when I was a little kid, I had the Hot Wheels, I had the Matchbox cars. I would play with them and everything like that. And so when I had 2 girls, I was during their childhood in the early 2000s, what was really popular was the Cars movie. John Lasseter, I think.
Yep.
So, and then we'd go to Toys R Us. And they would have the little cars, and they look awesome.
Oh yeah.
So I have the whole collection pretty much, and because I would buy them for them. Yeah, was I buying them for them, or was I buying?
No. Well, were you buying 3 of each? Is the real question.
I was.
Then it was for you. It was for you.
Listen, so I'm buying them for. I still have them, and I have the trucks too.
Yeah.
Which are cool, and I made custom trucks. So, I printed stickers, and I would do. Man, I'm just going.
You're a
crazy.
hobbyist. It's called.
Yeah, I'm a hobbyist. I'm a crafter.
Man needs hobbies.
Yeah, I grew up as an artist. I used to draw when I was a kid, all the cartoon characters, Tom and Jerry, Woody Woodpecker, just Popeye, everything.
Nice.
I used to do, and then I even went to school for animation, for pencil animation at Columbia College here in Chicago. But and I did 3D animation, and I did modeling and everything like that. And that's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to work at Industrial Light and Magic. That was my dream. But I think it was a little too young. I probably should have moved to LA or something or whatever. But it just keeps going along, the whole collecting thing. So as I got older, DJing, the vinyl, I'm the kind of guy that when I'm at the club in the 80s, I used to go to this club called Medusa's, which was awesome. And it played a lot of really cool music. And I'm the guy that listens and I go, that song sounds good. I can tell it was made well. It's got a lot of layers to it. I'm pretty deep when it comes to music. And I would go up to the DJ booth, and obviously the DJ says, oh, that's out of print. You can't find it.
Yeah.
So the next day I go to the record store and I'm hunting.
Right.
I'm hunting for this thing. And if I find it, I feel like I struck gold.
Of course.
So, and little by little, every record that the DJ had, I found. Not only that, there used to be a record service called Razor Made, which was only for DJs only. And only the clubs would be able to play a special remix of a certain song.
You get specific cuts and stuff.
Yeah, specific cuts. So what and I'm a very persistent person. I'll tell you the story later, but I'm so persistent that I talked to Steven Spielberg's mother because I called the restaurant that she actually has in Los Angeles and I spoke to her.
Yeah.
Not only that, I talked to the animator who did the animation for the 3D M&Ms that you see on the television.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I sought him out and I talked to him on the phone.
Are you trying to get a part? You want to be an
No. I just wanted to know what software he used.
Yeah, sure.
You know, whether it was Lightwave or 3ds Max or whatever it was. But I'm the kind of person that when I want something, I will just go to the ends of the earth to get it. You know,
that's us.
It's just what yeah. So records, vinyl,
Awesome.
same thing. And then when I was married before, because I'm remarried, I had an appreciation for. I love Halloween. Halloween is awesome. And one day, I was scrolling through eBay, and I don't know what I was looking for, but I saw a Halloween postcard. And hold on, I got to get some water here for a second. So, wait till you hear this.
Yeah, no, good.
Why isn't that a bourbon? Anyway,
I have some right over there. I might have to go get some. You know, I'll be right back. You go ahead.
So I'm strolling through eBay, and I see this vintage Halloween postcard, but the graphics on it look really, really cool. And I thought, it says like the year like 1909.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, this is awesome. I'm like, look at those graphics. I'm like, they're so cool. I'll have to post some sometime. Actually, if anyone wants to see like some of my collection, I'm on Instagram.
Yeah.
They can follow me. It's at Halloween. What is it called? I just recently changed the name. Used to be at Halloween Postcards Collector. Now I think it's hold on, let me look it up.
Yeah, take a look. You take a look. You do that.
That's
I'm gonna go get some bourbon. I'll be right back.
That's quite the niche you fell into, collecting Halloween postcards.
Yeah, so it is called. Here we go. It is called Wait, that's the wrong one. The Artistry of Halloween. So it's at The Artistry of Halloween.
All right.
And so, yeah, and then I started looking at all the postcards, and I'm thinking, these are great. But you know what? At the time when I was married, I didn't buy one. Actually, I think I bought maybe one, but it was all scratched up. And that was, you know what, like I got divorced in 2012. And then my wife recently, when we were dating, we were sitting on the couch one day, and I said to her, like I got her into Supernatural. She had never seen the show. And I said, you never seen Supernatural? I'm like, that's a great show. It's been on like 13 something seasons or whatever. Now it's 15 seasons, but she had never seen Supernatural. So we started watching it, and she loved it. And I said to her, I go, you know what Halloween postcards are? She's like, no. I go, let me show you. So I showed it to her, and she's like, oh my God. Next thing you know, she's like buying like postcards, these Halloween postcards, which you'll see on The Artistry of Halloween on my Instagram. And I was like, I loved it that this is why I married her, because I loved that she was into something that like I was into as well, which was cool. And she appreciated it, you know, and I have an appreciation for it too, and you will too.
Yeah, Jay's showing it to me right now on Instagram, and that is some of the coolest. I love all that stuff, man. That postcard, the last picture you've posted, or whatever that was, it a postcard? The last one?
Let me see, because there's so much different stuff
But it's
that I
great.
have on there.
Yeah, it's an old one with pumpkin, and there's some devils on it.
Yeah, exactly. Now that postcard, it's very hard to find that not scratched up.
Yeah.
Think about this for a minute. This had to have been. I mean, if you like do a search on eBay, they're always scratched up because of the material that they were made of.
Right.
And not only that, what I learned is that the printing style, these were printed in Germany. Germany at the time in the early 1900s had like really great printing techniques. So, but I think through the year, what is it that I said, 1900 to about 1915, there was like this craze for Halloween postcards. And the reason for that was because if you think about it, postcards was like their social media.
Yeah.
It was a way for them to, because some of these that I have on the backside, if you read them, it'll say things like, "Hello, Mary. I've been traveling for a couple of days. You know, I'm seeing things that I've never seen before." Like someone who's traveling or something, or it says, you know, like their experience, they were going cross country, or, you know, "I'll be there one day, my love," or something, you know, and you read it and you're thinking, man, these people live like a different life. You know what I mean?
Here's a question for you, that just out of curiosity, is there a market for that? Like, do you have to battle other people like in bidding wars to get certain cards, or like there's certain sought after ones that will like boost up the price?
Well, every one that you see that's on my, if you scroll, every one that you see is a sought after card. Like I said, like I don't waste my time with cards that or records, or like I always, for some reason, like you
like the rare and unattainable.
Yes, I do, and I feel like I have the eye for, and I have the ear for. I have the ear for music, and I have the eye for the visuals of, you know, like you know, and it's weird because it's all about taste, but because you might like something that I don't like, and you know what I mean? But even if there's something that you like that I look at and go, it's all right. Like I can appreciate that you like it for some reason. Like it might bring a memory back for you.
Like collecting video games. like having shelves and shelves.
Like when I look at a copy of Pit Fighter
games
versus when Robbie looks at Pit Fighter.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like even recently, like, you know, like back in the day, John Tobias gave me copies of Mortal Kombat, and for some reason I can't find them. So now when I go to shows, I'll walk the tables, and like I need to have something like that in my house, you know, so I'll walk the table and look for a copy of Mortal Kombat, you know, so that I can have it, you know, because it was a game that I was in. You gotta
give me a list of the things you're looking for, and we'll help you out. If you didn't notice back, you can't see it right now. I know you're not seeing our video, but the backdrop here is adorned with a number of Mortal Kombat games from my collection, and awesome. I'll say this. You will obviously know this. They were very popular games that sold a number of them. So they're not that difficult to obtain because of the mass hysteria and popularity of said games. So yeah, we are in and out of those shops and in those places where those things are all the time. So conventions are usually the last places you want to buy them.
So the Mortal Kombat comic book that John Tobias drew.
Yes.
I remember I have one too. But
mine, I got one from Mike Vinicor. He had a stack.
Oh, did you really?
Okay. He's like, "Hey, you want one?" I was like, "Yeah." And he gave me one that's signed by Boone. So I have one sitting here in the frame.
Nice.
You don't have one signed by Rich, though.
I remember being in John's office, and John had a box of them, you know, and he gave me, I think I had like 10 or 12 of them, but I sold all of them off.
Yeah.
And I have one left, and I'm not going to get rid of it. And then I do have, you know, that Kano poster. The one where I'm ripping the kids.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I have one of those that's signed by Ed and by John.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'll have to post that one day.
Do that. I'd love to see it.
Good.
Yeah. But Mortal Kombat 2 was another comic book that John.
I need that. You got any extras of those lying around?
Well, here's the thing. I never got one from John
Damn.
because I didn't know that there was a second comic book.
Damn.
But someone recently on my Instagram, said that don't worry, I got you. So I
Cool.
guess someone's supposed to be contacting me, and I'm not sure. I'm going to talk to
So
them and
you gotta
see if
ask for two.
I can get one.
You gotta ask for you know what? Ask him for
Just
3
to
because
have a
I could use
spare.
one too.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you
I
see
need-
how
I need
much that one
4.
was on eBay?
That one's like $200 or $300.
Yeah,
I saw it for like 700.
it depends.
Yeah, it depends. I don't know if that's a sold price, but last time I checked, it was around 300.
And
but
Yeah.
who knows?
and nowadays it's all condition sensitive stuff, so people get things
Yeah.
graded, and the higher grades bring more money and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
So,
Real
Rich, I
quick,
got
Rich,
Oh.
if you think those Mortal Kombat 1s and 2s that Tobias gave to you are inside of your wife's garage or ex-wife's garage, we're happy to go look through the bins to see if they're out there.
I'm
So
coming to
let us know.
Chicago in 2 weeks, so like 10 days. I'll stop by and take a look, whatever you need me to do. Wait,
Yeah,
it was the ex-wife?
I've been looking and I can't find them. I'm gonna have to dig deeper.
We'll help you out as much time as you need.
Still wrapped in plastic, I think.
Ooh,
And
yeek.
then
Nice.
recently, so there's something new that I'm into, and that is well, not new, but my wife and we collect vintage ornaments.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So, I kind of, I was born in 1968. So, every year, and we love the holidays. So when we put up our tree, we just have like I think we had a balsam hill tree, and I used to do a real tree, but she doesn't want to do a real tree. And then just recently, we bought another tree that looks a little bit more sparse. And it has kind of like it's not a feathered tree, and it's not an aluminum tree. Although I would like to have an aluminum tree because I like the time period of like the MCM, the mid-century modern.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really into that right now.
Love it.
Love it. And to get an aluminum tree, they're real expensive now because
Yeah.
everybody's jumping on the mid-century modern bandwagon.
Yeah, there's none left, and everybody wants them now.
Exactly. So, but ornaments as well. I mean, we were originally buying our ornaments like from Hobby Lobby, and Michael's or Walmart or whatever, like the plastic ones. But then one day I don't know, like I went on some ornament website and I saw this ornament, which are the glass, shiny bright ornaments from like the 1960s. And then I started researching it, and then I saw that there are some from World War II. And I started to learn the history of the ornaments and how they were created. And I didn't know that most of the ornaments that were in the United States before the war were actually made in Germany, in Europe, and then they were imported here. So those, we had no ornament companies in America. And then once World War II hit, one of the guys from the company in Germany, they had to get out of there because of the whole Hitler thing and all that. And they still had to create ornaments. So the Shiny Bright company, they started making those in America. But to make the ornaments, they had really no machinery to be able to do that, because they still wanted to be able to give the Americans, for the holidays, ornaments. But with the war going on, you're not going to get them from there. So
Right.
what they did was they contacted the company called Corning, which is Corning Glassworks, which is the same people who do Pyrex, like your Pyrex dish.
Yep.
And Corning they modified their machinery to be able to make ornament balls instead of light bulbs. And those were the first ornaments. So I started buying those. And those are really delicate and very old.
I can't imagine that a lot of those have survived, probably.
But not a lot of them have. And the stripes that are on them were hand painted.
Oh, wow.
So you could imagine like all these ladies in the warehouse that are just hand painting each ornament. So we collect those now as well. And then it got so bad with the war that, and this is where you go deeper. At first they had metal caps
Mm-hmm.
to hang,
Yep, I remember.
but then But then what ended up happening is because they needed all the metal
Mm-hmm.
that they could for the war, they ended up going with a cardboard cap
Oh yeah.
because they needed to salvage as much metal as possible
Sure.
because they needed to do bombs and planes and all that kind of stuff. So things like that. And I love history, and that's why I love the, what do you call it? Like the melding of history and art
Yep.
combined. I just love it. You know, maybe I should have been a history teacher. I'm not sure, but
It's not too late.
But the combination of art and history, which I've taken art history before when I was in art school, but I love it. And something else recently that I'm into is bubble lights. I've never been into bubble lights at all.
What is that?
Well, a bubble light is like, they look like a candle, but they have liquid in the glass tube and they bubble really, really fast.
I've never seen them. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, they're called bubble lights.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, and they used to, I guess it was supposed to mimic the old days of when they used to put candles on Christmas trees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but now it's safer, so they
You don't want to do that nowadays, probably.
Yeah, no.
A lot of
And
liability.
I know a lady that still does.
Yeah. You're
she's a
just
part of our
tempting
group,
fate.
yeah, that's dangerous. But the bubble lights themselves are very, very rare. You're talking like a lot of them are like from the 1940s.
Yeah, Jay just showed me them, so I know what you're talking about now. Actually, I recognized them when he showed them to me, but I had no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, I get it. Very cool.
So yeah, I have a set myself right now. So
Cool.
But I know a guy who recreates them, and I was able to contact him, and I was able to get him to make a set for me, and he recreates them exactly like how they were in the 1940s.
Same process and everything.
Same process and everything, and they're awesome. Very hard to get, but for some reason, well, we'll change the subject. But yeah, I'm into a lot of things, and I'm deep about all the things that I'm into. So, and it keeps me busy, you know.
How do you?
If I were to retire, I wouldn't be afraid. You know, a lot of guys that retire that are older are like, "Oh, what am I going to do with myself?" I'm like, "Listen, I got hobbies.
Yeah.
I do carpentry.
Yep.
I'm building a raised bed garden right now for all my vegetables outside.
Nice.
We love to go antiquing. You know, I would love to do more shows.
Yeah.
And travel and go around and meet all the awesome fans that made this game what it is. And you know, I always in every interview I always say this. You know, the fans are the ones that actually made the game what it is, because if you know, no matter what we did when we made the game, if you guys didn't put the quarters in and you guys didn't buy the games, then the game wouldn't be popular. It would just be another game that would just be shelved.
Yep.
And it would suck.
Well, we did. We
but
still do sometimes.
We certainly did, man.
So hats off to you guys.
I still
Thank you.
am. I'm still putting those quarters into the machine at the arcade I work at.
I'm glad you guys loved what we, you know, as artists, you know, came together to do, because we didn't know whether it was going to turn into whatever it turned into.
I mean,
we appreciate you guys and we love you guys. So
you were
well,
saying,
thank you.
Thank you.
You were saying you're like 9 years old watching Star Wars and having that feeling, and like that's what Mortal Kombat kind of was to me. I was like 9.
Awesome.
That stuff blew my mind when it came out.
Awesome.
So I was
Awesome.
playing the Nintendo and, you know, pixel art graphics, everything's cutesy, and then that came out and I was like, whoa, this is a giant leap to something else I've never seen
Speaking
before.
of pixel graphics, you know, I bought from Walmart an arcade 1-up.
Yeah.
And I returned it.
Yeah, good call.
Not good.
You know, I'm not sure, like, maybe I should have kept it because I didn't know too much about it, but is there a way to make the screen look like more pixelated, like,
no,
like the regular CRT?
No,
So,
you need to base. No, that's one thing those arcade 1-ups have been dogged on for, is just having a crappy monitor.
Yeah, Robbie
it looks bad.
Yeah, Robbie and I talked about this a while ago, And
Yeah,
you
I
were
con-
like,
I considered
we,
getting
we were
one, but I
both
was like,
thinking about
"Eh."
getting one, and we both just hedged. And you would ask me, I'm like, nah, I've touched them, used them, and I'm just like, I think returning it was the right move, personally.
I mean,
So-
I'm an
And-
arcade technician at Logan Arcade in Chicago, and like I work
Yeah.
on these things, and like I consider getting one just for my apartment because I have a small living space, but I couldn't do it.
No,
It's like
and-
it's like a toy.
I will
compared
tell
to
you,
the
it
real
is.
deal, you know.
I will tell you what I talked to you about at Midwest Gaming Classic. We are still working on. So just so you know, if you remember, I'll talk to you about it offline.
Oh,
but
yeah.
we're still working on that. So
Awesome.
that has not gone to the wayside in any way. So,
Thank you.
but yeah, absolutely, we can.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll discuss that offline. But
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Kind of segueing
Yeah,
into
man.
that, Rich, I got a couple questions for you. And
Okay.
we're going to stick with the Mortal Kombat arcade here. So,
Now that everybody knows a little bit about me.
yeah, of course. But, well, and it's still more
No,
about
let's get
you.
into
It's along the lines of, so do you play it? Do you play Mortal Kombat? Are you a fan? I mean,
Or
I'm sure you're a
have you ever
fan,
played
but
it? Like,
I only play the game when I'm at the Galloping Ghost.
yeah,
I do not have a copy of like the MK11, anything like that. I do behind me by where this television is. I'm kind of like in this. We just bought this house like a year and a half ago. The room I'm in right now is going to be the game room.
yeah,
The only thing that's in here right now is this, I think, 42-inch TV,
yeah.
and we have it in here so that when the family comes over and the kids come over, there's a place to shove the kids. And I bought a PS4, which is behind there. And it's kind of just a place for like, Thanksgiving, the kids are
Yeah.
here. You guys go downstairs, throw you in the room and go play Minecraft or whatever. But like, I don't come in this room and play anything. I did buy for my daughter. I love Abe's Oddworld.
Yeah.
The company Oddworld Inhabitants, the graphics that they do are, oh my God. I have like a PS1, and that's when I started playing Oddworld. But just the full motion videos, the 3D, the side scrolling 3D, and then this new Oddworld, it's got like, this world movement where, you can, oh my God, like it's just, I love like the detail
Yeah.
in the background design in the Oddworld games. But I do have that, but I don't come in here and play like, to unwind or anything.
Right.
I just don't have the time. I mean, I'm up at 4 a.m. for my job. By the time I get home, like, I'm just chilling and watching like Mandalorian. Oh, wait a minute. Mandalorian's on tonight, isn't it?
Oh man,
Oh,
Yeah.
gotta get caught up.
Oh,
you're missing your stories.
Did you?
damn.
So when you do go to like say Galloping Ghost, are you playing as yourself or who do you play as? Like who's your go-to guy?
Yeah, no. I'll play as Kano or Baraka.
Oh, very
Yeah.
good.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
that's
good.
who I play as.
Nice.
Yep, for sure. And,
I would too. No doubt about
and
it.
I don't know. You know what? And I thought about this. I really need to learn like the finishing moves.
Oh, I can teach you.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, like I need to
Hang out with
so
Robbie.
that
Go
when
to
I get-
Logan Arcade one time and you'll be all set.
Yeah,
Check make sure those games are real clean.
I still play MK2 and Ultimate MK3 on like a bi-daily basis online or in real life. So
Yeah.
those are just the
And I
games.
just
I
started
stuck with,
learning
man.
about this whole online thing where, where
Yeah.
like you can play people online, this Twitch thing, or
Fightcade, man. That's what all the guys play on MK.
What is it called?
Fightcade.
Fightcade.
Fightcade?
Yeah, it's
Like Fight
software
Club?
that like fighting game people use to play basically any fighting game against each other, like old ones mostly. But there's a whole community for playing like Mortal Kombat 2, Ultimate MK3, and MK1. Even
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know much about this? I don't know if they do this in Japan or where somewhere in the world they do this. I don't know if it's in Vegas or whatever. Don't they have these tournaments that are like in large arenas
Yep.
with like guys playing like each other for like
Yeah.
lots of money?
Yeah.
They
whatever.
do that for
Like-
fighting games here. They do one in Schaumburg called Combo Breaker, and that's mostly Street Fighter stuff. They have like an MK11 tournament, I think, but they don't do any of the classic ones there. But they'll do the old Street Fighter games like Street Fighter Third Strike and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo and stuff like that. But there's a whole fighting game
Scene.
arena, contest scene going
Like,
on.
I think to myself, like, why? Like, does the new generation that's doing this stuff, do they not know that we exist? I only say this because, like, if I was them, like on a creative level, like if I was the promoter, I'd be like, get these guys in here who were the originals
Yeah.
and have them like be the announcer.
Oh, I agree.
Like I could see myself going like, he's ripping that guy's heart out,
Yeah.
you know, or whatever. Like, or, you know, I could call the play-by-play. Like, I mean, I know like, it seems like, I don't want to say like, there's the older Mortal Kombat fans, and then there's the newer generation Mortal Kombat fans. What's your take on the do the newer Mortal Kombat fans just are like, yeah, we don't like the, you know, the MK 1, 2, and 3. We're just only into the 3D stuff.
Hey, remember, Richard, not everybody can have good taste.
It's pretty
or is there? Yeah. What's it
the
like
game,
out
the
there?
gameplay is so different too, because I don't even like the newer ones. Truth be told, I don't care about them at all. I stopped around 4, and I wasn't even that big of a 4 fan, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
4,
like,
it's not that good.
no, it's not that good.
And
But
I was on the side of the machine.
yeah, that's true. You were the Quan Chi and the big side art. But yeah, and I feel like the younger kids who play are only brought up on those newer, more recent Mortal Kombat games. They don't give a shit at all about the old ones. They think it's like
I wish that they would, you know.
I think the only one that's like
it.
the only one that's respected by like the newer players is Ultimate MK3, because it's similar to like the gameplay of I think 9 or something like that. So people kind of found a connection there, but like that's really the only one that people kind of respect in like a tournament play kind of scenario today still.
That's why they need to do a remake of the original with the original cast, so that you can bring these new kids up into the old style game.
Well,
I've been waiting for like a reskin for like.
You want to get back on that those set of
man.
stairs?
You could thank Ed Boon for that not happening.
Yeah, he doesn't want it happening, huh?
Yeah, he's just being a jerk right now. I don't know what his problem is, but I think that WB and it's almost like they want to disconnect themselves from the first 3 original games.
Yeah,
it seems that way.
And anyone that was a part of it, but you know, I wish the fans would, you know more about this, but that's why I'm telling you now, you know, to get it out there is, you know, they are disconnecting. They're trying as hard as they can to disconnect, you know, the first 3 games with the newer generation of the games. But, you know, there will always be, you know, where it all began.
Absolutely.
That's what Mortal Kombat is to me. Like, I don't even.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, the newer shit is what it is. That's what people know now. But like, that's not what all the hysteria was over.
No,
like,
it's not what it's not what made it what it is.
Phenomenon that started with the first 3.
Exactly.
Well, we even jump back to what
the pop culture phenomenon is the first 3.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we even jump back to what you were talking about earlier in the show is, Rich, when you were talking about how you guys kind of, good, bad, or otherwise, set the standard for like game rating. I mean, because that was when it started. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, there's blood in Mortal Kombat," so everybody freaked out, and it wasn't. That wasn't a thing. Like that's
yeah. You
that's
essentially
groundbreaking.
changed the history of video games because of implementing a rating system due to the fact that game came out.
So I want to be respectful of your time. We talked about, you know, I don't want to be too long, and we can edit this out of the podcast part, but we're bumping up against the time that you had stated you kind of want to be done. It's about 7:30 your time. So I don't know if you want to keep going or if you're
Let's
good.
go for about another 15 minutes or
sure.
so.
Perfect.
That works.
All right. I just want to be just
squeeze some questions in.
Yeah, just want to be respectful.
So we got important questions to ask. I think a very important one needs to be asked. And I want to ask
while you guys are looking at that, I did want to say that I don't care what it's called. If you get the original cast together in Pit Fighter 2, just all the original Mortal Kombat dudes.
Oh no, Pit Fighter.
Don't do that to them. Don't wish that evil on them.
No. That's what I'm saying. The magic of the original cast of Mortal Kombat, but in a Pit Fighter 2. Forget,
call it Pit Fighter 2.
Whatever that guy's name is. Yeah, I don't care, man. I'll play it.
I would too.
Revitalize that old fighting game genre.
I agree.
Another
Yeah.
company. Who's Warner Brothers' biggest competitor in the fighting game scene?
Themselves.
No,
Well,
no, that's
you
no
know
good.
what? On that note, so, doing these shows that I do, I'm trying to, I don't know if you guys know people or not, but what I'm trying to do is maybe do voice work,
Yeah.
or some
Yeah,
of
that'd be
these
great.
newer games, like to do stuff for Blizzard would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've recently been seeing some of that stuff like God of War,
Mm-hmm.
or like the Last of Us, or stuff like that, or what's that other one that's really cool? God, what is it with the gorilla guy?
Primal Rage.
Overwatch 2.
Primal
Overwatch 2.
Rage.
Oh yeah.
No, Overwatch.
Oh
Yes.
Overwatch 2. Yeah, stuff like that, like where I would love to do like voices for a character, in one of those games or something like that. But I was recently told that they kind of go through agencies and
Sure.
stuff like that. It's not like it used to be where like John calls me and
No.
says, "Hey, can you let's do Mortal Kombat?" Or actually, there was no name for the game when we did it.
Yeah.
But
Drive to Wilmington.
So I don't
No.
mean to dredge up drama, but I'm guessing that
Yeah.
they're not cool with Boone, or like where you'd be able to do that kind of stuff, from what I'm gathering from what you were talking
but
about earlier.
I
So we
kind of
can-
need to, I feel like I need to get away, not get away from Mortal Kombat, but I kind of feel like this face needs to be either scanned and a character maybe like in some new game. You know what I mean? Like Ed Boon's not doing it. He's not taking advantage of the fact that, we were real people in the game.
Yeah.
And, if they were to do, like if I was in God of War or something where, it's my face and I'm like some,
Well, I'm just
guy.
curious if you were ever like hypothetically
Character.
asked to come back and do like some voice work for an MK game, would you be down for it, or would you just be like, nah, I want to distance myself from that at this point?
Well, being that I know the relationship right now, I wouldn't mind doing stuff for Warner Brothers.
Mhm.
But being that I know what's going on with, because I've spoken with their lawyers, and they basically kind of have no interest in anything like, and I'll put this out there. I have been told that if I wanted to at shows, for instance, this banner behind me, I can no longer have it at shows.
Wow.
They do not want us in costume at shows. Any sort of posters, anything that's at a show, they don't want that anymore. I had talked with their licensing group, and I expressed the fact that when we do these game cons, Comic Cons, etc., that at the tables, we want to give the fans something, like a poster, something. So
Yeah.
I created some artwork that I need your approval on, because they were stressing that to have things like that at a show, that it needs to go across their table first. And so I did submit artwork to Warner Brothers for their approval. And the lawyer came back and told me that my request was denied. So,
Wait, you can't wear a costume at a show anymore? Like you can't dress
Nope.
up as Kano at the show?
Nope, that's done.
So I
That's
got
over.
a picture with you last Midwest Gaming Classic, and you were the only guy of the group wearing the costume. That's why I chose
Well,
you. I was like, well, he's got the costume, so I'm going to get a
Yep,
picture with him.
just so you know, at the Midwest Gaming Classic last year, that is where the spy was.
Ugh.
There's a spy.
There was a spy from Warner Brothers
Wow.
that took pictures of everything that we had. Even
Oh,
the
man.
banner even the banner
Yeah.
behind me.
The MK1 background or whatever from like the courtyard.
Yep. And so
Wow.
many of us got cease and desist
Wow.
letters from Warner Brothers. So to the Mortal Kombat fans that are watching today, this is just a little bit of the way that we're being treated by them.
That's unfortunate, man. That sucks.
And
Yeah, they can go
like I
fuck
said,
themselves.
Yeah, they pretty much can, because I don't really think that they give a shit
Obviously,
about-
they don't.
about
Yeah,
the fans. They only care about that, MK12
controlling the
gonna
IP.
come out.
Yeah, they want to control it all.
That's exactly the truth. In what I gather is that they want to control the property.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I don't really like the modern games as much anymore, because it just seems so like watered down and just like we're just shoveling out the next game, and like there's less of like a
There's no
DIY
character.
person. Yeah, there's no character. There's no DIY personality to it like it was back in the day. That like felt like punk to me almost, the way those games are being made and like how they're just going for it and throwing ideas at the wall. But there's no risk taking anymore. It's just like, yeah, here's another one of these, and it's like
Nope.
the formula is set now.
It's like Apple iPhones. It's like the iPhone. Every iPhone looks the
Yeah.
same, has basically the same
Yeah.
features. There's a little bit of a change. It's a little bit faster, blah, blah, blah. But really, it's this homogenized product that's just this consistent delivery model. And it's games are the same way now, where it's just like there's no creativity. It's all boring. It's all boiled down. And again, I use the word homogenized because it's just how it feels. There's no personality to any of it anymore.
Guess what? Everybody that's listening to this podcast right now will buy Mortal Kombat 12.
Maybe.
Simple as that. Simple as that.
I
They're
won't.
going to buy it because it's going to look cool and whatever. But and I understand they want to control the property and all that. And if they're telling me, hey, listen, we don't want you to have this banner at a show because we don't want you. By the way, I will tell you, they did say that I could say that I played Kano, Baraka, Cabal, and Quan Chi, and that I can have that on like a
sign. Just like a sign.
But it's the
like a
likeness,
sign,
right?
Or like an 8x10 that has a picture of me in plain clothes.
Right.
And then just says that I played Kano, Baraka, Cabal, and Quan Chi in Mortal Kombat. They said that I can say that in words, but the words can't be in the Mortal Kombat font.
Damn.
So the thing is that what we were doing, it's like the fans want to walk away with like a poster,
An experience.
something that looks like something like
Correct.
this from the character that they remember. And I understand that they want to control the intellectual property. I understand that, but you know what? Don't deny my request.
Yeah.
Sit down with me. Let's sit down and get to know me, and say and say something like, all right, well, so you played Kano, so you played Baraka. Okay, maybe we don't like the artwork that you did, but we have people that
Here's something you can
blah,
use.
blah, blah. Here's something that you can use
Yep.
when you're at shows. But just don't deny my request just flat out.
Yeah.
Like it shows that you just really don't care. Oh, you know what? Yeah, it's just.
It seems highly hypocritical that they're like trying to distance themselves from the first three as a trilogy, like in general, but then be like, well, we don't want anything to do with that game, but we're still going to try to control your end of it, even though like we're already trying to distance ourselves from it. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah,
it can't be
just doesn't
both.
make sense.
Yeah, it can't be
doesn't make
both.
sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
And that's where you guys took off where Pit Fighter didn't, right? Like you could see
Come on, man.
the friendship. Pit Fighter. Oh, sorry. Robbie's a fan of Pit Fighter. But,
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
All right, okay. But
There's a running
you
joke on
guys-
the show about Pit Fighter, so.
But you guys showed the passion.
Do not fail.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
right.
man, I got a picture with you in your Kano suit, so I guess I should cherish that now since you got the cease and desist.
Yeah, that's done. That's it. That's over.
Damn, dude. I'm glad I went for it. I almost did. My girlfriend's like, go for it. I'll take the pick. I'm like, all right.
I'm gonna make my own and go as Kano for Halloween. And I'm gonna send pictures to Warner Brothers and be like, you know what? Fuck you guys. Try and stop me. That's right. I got that little eye shield thing because he got shot in the eye by Sony or whatever the hell happened there. So anyway,
As Mike's
Same thing
lawyer,
like
I'm going
with,
to tell him to stop talking.
yeah,
With
exactly. Thank
entertainment
you.
attorney, I'm trying to find an entertainment attorney right now, but like, you know, when you mention this stuff to them, they don't even want to deal with the whole Warner Brothers thing. It's,
No.
you
Well,
know,
and even if they don't have standing, they'll try to bury you with legal fees if that's the case. Although that would make for a horrible news article on the 30-year anniversary, Mortal Kombat 12, saying like, "Hey, we're suing the original actors that we didn't give enough money to originally." So,
Because they want to,
yeah.
they want to use the likeness of the character they played.
Yeah, and like they don't stop William Shatner from using his likeness, and this was the point I was trying to make earlier. The camaraderie you guys had, you could see that in just so few stills, and that it really came through in those games. So that's why the rest of us, like, I was into punk. I didn't know that anybody involved with the games were, but it definitely spoke to me in a lot of those ways. So when you talk about Dungeons and Dragons or doing kung fu in a park, like that's what we all wanted, and it showed in that game. I seriously doubt.
Yeah.
Sorry, last comment about Pit Fighter. Sidewalk Jim was actually sparring with somebody in real life. Like that was just a dude they took pictures of. You guys had like legitimate you had
Kung fu training.
Yeah, exactly.
You were trained actors. Yeah. No, I agree.
Sorry, I got passionate about that.
That's okay.
it's almost like a bunch of us should just go to like California and like be at Warner Brothers and say, we want a meeting, and sit down and explain to these people like that. Like, I honestly believe that after I tell you this, you could say, well, they don't care. But I honestly think that they don't know how this all began.
Yeah, they might be out of touch. It might be like a younger-ish like CEO at this point. Who knows?
It's honestly,
Like,
it's probably a
somebody's gotta
split
get
of
the
both.
word to them.
It's
Yeah.
probably a split of both. It's probably they don't care and they don't know. That's the unfortunate part about it.
Ed,
And it's
Ed
not
Boon
like
is
you're.
probably
It's not like you
telling them
guys are
'cause he's
going
that
out.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, it's not like you guys are going out and Sean, one of our viewers that's in right now, just commented, and he says, "How much money is it really diverting from them, and how much is it hurting them?" And on top of that, you're probably helping them.
Yeah, it's helping them.
Which is
Well,
funny
yeah,
that they
but
don't look at that.
The problem is from their side, and I'm not siding with them at all. They lose control of the use of the IP, right? That's the problem.
Uh-oh.
That's what they don't want. They can go fuck
Throw it at
off,
me.
but that's what they don't want. So
Yeah.
anyway, all right. Well, it's 8:45, 7:45 your time. So I don't know if you're if that's how we want to wrap it up. I have one more question.
Okay.
You're
So
from
we got to at least go out on a good question, on a
Yeah.
positive note with you.
what's your favorite Chicago style pizza?
You know,
Rickabeanies?
oh, no. You know, when tourists come to town, they always do the Giordano's,
Yeah.
but it's not that great.
It's okay.
Then you have a lot of your local neighborhood pizza places that are out there, and you try those, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. What's weird is, and what I tell you guys is, because you guys are in Michigan, some of you guys, I really like a Detroit style pizza.
Really?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So what I need to do is is it Robbie, right? You're on the north side?
Yeah, I'm right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'll have to like text you or whatever when I'm up north, because I have not tried Pequods yet.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I'll tell you, we're on Clybourne.
Sure.
Sure.
And Pequods does they do the Detroit style pizza in it goes over the tin, but and Chicago's known for like the thin crust kind of thing, or the deep dish. It's one or the other. I don't like deep dish because I don't like all that cheese. It's just
it's too much.
Yeah, it's too much. But I like more of a thick dough type of pizza.
So you would like Detroit style? It makes perfect sense. That deep
Yeah, I
dish,
like
like the deep
Yeah.
dish dough, not the deep dish like cheese. Yeah.
Right, exactly, like the deep dough. Now Costco actually sells a pizza called Motor City.
Oh,
So that's about the closest to Detroit style pizza I'm going to get, and that's pretty much what we get. But there is a place out here on the southwest side called Fox's,
Mhm.
and they have a really good sauce. I really like it a lot. I wish they would make it thicker, Detroit style with that sauce, but they're not. So, but as far as any places like the Giordano's or a place I could recommend, I'm guessing the place in the future that I'll probably recommend will be Pequod's,
okay.
because I've heard a lot of great things about them. It won't be a Giordano's. It won't be, because I've been there.
Malnati's or
Garbage.
anything like that.
It won't be a Lou Malnati's. I don't even like the way it smells.
No, I
It's
hate
like
it. I hate it.
it's like the cheese is. Yeah, I don't know.
Never.
I got one last question here. I'm going to fire
Yeah.
off for you, man.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that like you guys knew you kind of had lightning in a bottle when you were making that first game. How did it feel when it like became realized? Like you saw the phenomenon, like the hysteria, just exploding into like pop culture. You know, did you like anticipate it would be that big? Were you just like, oh, this is going to be a good game we made, not like this worldwide phenomenon?
You know, it's funny because when the game was out, MK1, MK2, MK3, 4, whatever, all these, like I wasn't at an arcade playing. I was at just my normal job.
I was.
You know, I didn't frequent an arcade, you know, in the 80s when I was little.
But you saw the media coverage and all that stuff, though. I imagine.
Well, no. See, so I saw like the commercial with the kid saying Mortal Kombat, you know, for the release of the game. But think about when that was out. That was what, 1992.
92.
Yep.
Yes.
I was DJing. I wasn't at home really watching television. There was really no social media at that time. There were no cell phones, and you know, where you were seeing commercials. It would have had to have been a commercial that you caught, like on TV, between a TV show. So like I very rarely saw it, and if I saw it, I was like, oh, cool. You know, like, but I didn't think nothing big of it at all through the years that we did the game. It was like, you know, I went and did a game with all of us, and even when we did it, and we were in Tobias's office or Boone's office when they were, you know, putting it all together on the screen, and they were like, "Oh, check this out! When you know, when this guy, and he throws the harpoon, you know, get over here or whatever." Like, oh, that's cool, that's awesome. These are like days of like not knowing, like we actually didn't go in doing this thinking we're gonna make the best game ever.
Yeah.
We were just happy that we were working on something that was creative with our buddies. We didn't even.
At what point did you?
That's why I do the podcast.
Start realizing that it was this big thing. You're like, oh shit! I guess I was part of this pretty important game.
It wasn't really, and I know this is going to seem weird. It wasn't until, and remember, even in those early '92, whatever, there were no big entertainment conventions, no big Comic-Cons. There might have been Comic-Con, but there wasn't like there was no gaming conventions. There was nothing like that. But it wasn't until the Galloping Ghost Arcade, when Doc Mack called us, it was probably around 2012, when he said to me, "Hey, we're going to do this thing called Shang Tsung's Fight Night, and we want you to come on in and meet the fans." And I'm like,
fans?
The what?
What are you talking about? He goes, "Don't you know who you are?" I'm like, "I work at a job every day. I go to work." Yeah. I'm like, "I don't really." He goes, "No." He's like, "You know your name's at the end of the screen. Like if they play your character and you win, it says Richard Divizio played Kano. I'm like, I didn't even know my name was there.
I can verify it is.
I didn't know that John put that there because I don't go in and play the game, so I didn't know. So he's like, yeah, he's like, you just come out. He's like, it'll be fun. I'm like, okay. So Danny and I and Carl, we all went, and there were like, I don't know, like 600-700 people out the door of the Galloping Ghost. And Doc had like tables set up for us, and he printed pictures, and like they were giving them away, and
that's
it was
awesome.
like we're walking in, and fans are going, Richard Divizio,
they knew who you were.
Like,
yeah,
they knew who
and you're like,
thinking,
what?
What? And that was the first time that I was feeling some sort of recognition for this. And then from that show at the Galloping Ghost Arcade, that other people started to see that because social media was evident at that time, and you could promote, and then like other Comic-Cons would see that and go, oh, those guys are available, let's get them. So we started doing shows and stuff like that. And it's so weird because like I've looked at like my old Mortal Kombat contracts, and I hadn't looked at them for years. And in one of the contracts, so we're talking back from the 90s, on one of the lines, line 12 of like our second contract we signed, it says something like Midway agrees to promote the character in professional opportunities and like any sort of like things that they do like with the character, and
like the actual actors involved, not just
like, and to promote them and things like that. And it says that the actors must like reciprocate by making themselves available for, like whatever, like didn't say Comic-Cons or anything like that, but it did say like events, we must make ourselves available,
public events
for things like that or whatever. And I was just recently reading that, and I'm going, we're doing that already.
Yeah.
We've been doing that. We've been keeping the culture alive, the old school, the thing of this, and we've been doing this. But then now WB acquires Midway, but I'm thinking if they acquired the contracts, then they should be abiding by what's in the contract, and they should read line 12. And,
when we storm the castle, we'll point it out and highlight it for them.
But they should be abiding by that and reading that and going, we should be promoting these guys. We should be doing stuff with these guys, but they're not doing that. They're not. So those are questions that I have to, get legal counsel on and ask, like, are they supposed to be following this? Like, because if anything, they're trying to shut us down. I'm
starting to think Shao Kahn might be in charge over at WB.
Yeah.
It might be that Shao Kahn. He's always a problem.
He needs to get his ass kicked.
He sure does. Well, good news. You got me and Robbie on here, and we can kick Shao Kahn's ass anytime. So,
let
all
me
right.
know about that Torg show, too, if you find out any information.
I'll let you know.
About that.
No, I'll reach out to you once we're done here. I'll talk to you a little bit about it. And I definitely, I know the people who created and organized it are, one of them is a friend of mine, and the other one I'm literally in a conversation with constantly about. I just had to send him a picture of myself because, like I said, I'll be involved in the the historical part of it and all that. So absolutely, I'll bring that up to him probably tomorrow and see what I can find out.
You had a question about Tim Kitzrow that you asked me earlier?
Yeah, no, tell us a little bit about that. Like Tim obviously is the voice, for those who don't know, of NBA Jam. He's on Fire guy and all that. What's your relationship with him? Yeah, that's one of the cool things I do think that when you're just around Midwest Gaming Classic, he's there and you hear his voice, right? So like people do the whole Papa Shot thing and he's like talking and yelling and all that stuff, and it's it's just neat to hear like out of context, like, oh shit, is that NBA Jam? Like you can just
I was
hear it.
actually at a game convention a year ago, Bloomington, Illinois, where he narrated an NBA Jam tournament basically, or announced it, like for real time,
awesome,
like, shouting out the boom shakalakas and all that stuff. It was great.
Yeah.
So what's your relationship like with him? You mentioned him when we met up in Chicago or in Milwaukee.
So Tim, you know, he lives, you know, in Chicago as well.
Yeah.
So we're like neighbors, and you know, he lives close to you actually, like up on the north side. So, by Robbie, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know if has he come to the arcade? I'm not sure.
I don't know. All I know is that Boone's been through, and like some of the industry guys come through, like Eugene Jarvis and stuff. But
so
I'm not sure if Tim's ever come through. We got an NBA Jam though. He can come stand in front of it and do his thing.
Yeah. So what's cool is lately when we've been doing these shows, is we've kind of been doing, I don't want to say a package deal, but it's kind of like the Midway crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, where you got you got me and the rest of the Mortal Kombat guys, and then you got Tim, you know, and I talked to Tim 2 days ago on the way home, and we were shooting a shit about everything, and we talked, you know, every once in a while, and we had dinner together in Milwaukee, and we were talking about stuff.
Yeah.
And Tim's cool because he comes by our table and he's got the microphone and he's doing all the voices, and he'll come by our Mortal Kombat table, or we'll go by his NBA Jam area. But it's kind of neat because it's kind of like the Midway family.
Yes.
And you know, sometimes like when promoters want to bring people to shows, you know, they'll contact me. They'll say, "Is there anybody else?" And I'll mention them, like, well, we got Tim, we got Paul. Paul Niemeyer did like the line art for the graphics for like the header for Mortal Kombat. Yeah. So, you know, he's been doing some stuff, or sometimes Tim and Paul will do a show. So Tim will have a show and he'll call me and say, you know, hey, are you doing this show? And I'll say no, and maybe he'll talk to someone. But
nice.
But yeah, we're good friends, and it's awesome because when we get to do shows together, it's always a great time, especially with Tim. You know, if we're out at a restaurant, oh my God, if we're out at a restaurant, he's hilarious. It's awesome.
You guys should do a podcast, you and Tim. You got the stories, he's got the voice, he's a funny dude. I think it'd be an amazing show.
Oh yeah.
Bring on some old friends.
Let's get him on. Let's get him on this one first, and then you guys can. I'll tell him all about how it works.
One more question. This is a collector nerd question.
Okay.
When I was at Midway Gaming Classic the other week, you guys did your table signing thing, and then you all disappeared. But the only thing that was left in that area was the Goro standee.
Oh, shut up.
So,
yes.
Who owns that standee, and can I buy it in some way? Since you guys got a cease and desist now, you can't even use that anyway, right?
You know, I had that, and I probably sold it to the same guy I sold the shirt to, and that
Dennis Kahn, right?
That I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's a documentary where Dennis Kahn has that standee, and he talks about how he bought it from an actor from Mortal Kombat. I'm assuming it was you.
Wait, who's the guy?
Dennis. I think his name is Dennis Kahn.
DenizKhan, Dennis Kahn.
Okay.
I thought
Nintendo collector.
I sold it to him. I sold it to him then.
Yeah.
I probably sold it to him in like 2008 or something. But just so you know, that Goro standee that he has, I should have kept it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I needed the money at the time, you know, while Midway was making billions.
Yeah.
He doesn't need it. We'll tell him you want it back.
That actually was John Tobias.
Yep.
Oh man. Damn.
That was
the one in his office.
Every day when I went in John's office, it was standing there.
Yep, that's what he said in the documentary.
It was just in the way. Yeah. John told me one day, he goes, "Do you want this?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll take it." So I took it.
Yeah.
He goes.
So what about the one that was at Midwest Gaming Classic? Who's this?
You know, some guy came up to the table and said that he had it. He goes, "Let me go get it, and I could put it behind here." But I don't know who the guy was.
Oh, weird.
Did he have like a black hat and like a goatee? I'm serious.
I can't remember.
It's all right. Because the guy in the booth across from us from Game Exchange in Madison, he kept taking the banner over to get signed. He had a big MK2 release banner, same one you have, Robbie. Robbie has the same one.
Yeah, I have a big Mortal Kombat 2 banner in my game room.
Yep, it was when it was released on Super Nintendo and Genesis and all that, and the guy kept taking it over there to get signed. So I wonder if it was Julian there. Lance was his real name, but he looked like Julian from Trailer Park Boys.
It was just funny to me that you guys all left, and all that was left was that Goro standing. I was like, should I just walk away with
probably
this?
He went to a panel. We went to the panel or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just was wondering. I was going to try to weasel in there and buy that from somebody, but I guess you don't even know whose it is.
Yeah.
Robbie's always shooting an angle around here, so
I gotta shoot my shot, man.
you gotta try. You gotta get your chance in when you get it. So, all right.
Man's got to have his hobbies.
Fail me.
We
have toyed with the ninja long enough.
That's right. That's right.
So the Quan Chi dialogue from mythologies or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do not question me, Serena, and more importantly, do not fail me.
That's the best part about the PlayStation version because it has those cutscenes.
Yeah, it's got all the little stuff in there.
The movies, yep.
Rich, I think you and Daniel should look in the next video game convention you guys go to, see if they can do a tournament and have you guys be the color commentators for the tournament. I think it'd be awesome to see you two just doing that.
It would be.
Yeah.
It would be. Don't you realize why Raid sent you? The Netherrealm is a place for evil beings.
Yeah.
You cannot exist here unless you were tainted with evil. You belong here.
You just need that makeup.
Join my brothers of the shadow and worship our Lord Shinnok. Never, sorcerer. And so it shall be, ninja.
Very good.
Awesome.
Love it. Well, on that note, thank you, sir.
Hey, you know what? Wait, hold on. So I was thinking about this earlier today. I was thinking, what was I thinking? I was thinking, here's like Shaggy and Scooby in The Last of Us, and they see the Mortal Kombat 2 machine. So they're like, I can't believe it, Scoob. Like a Mortal Kombat 2 machine. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 2. Did you see that famous scene with the Mortal Kombat 2 machine in The Last of Us?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to play Baraka, you know.
The best character in Mortal Kombat 2. No Melina, none of that katana crap that Robbie likes to play.
Hey now.
I just
they showed Baraka in there though.
That's right, because he's the best. So, all right.
I was thinking of funny things, you know, like you better not let Shang Tsung get you, Scoob. He'll take your soul away. Yeah, my soul. Not that kind of soul, Scoob.
I'm starting to think there's a mashup here that we're missing out on.
Oh my god.
That's good.
Get me and Tim Kisro together.
Yeah, I look. I'm for it, man. Next time I see you two, we're gonna have to do something like that.
Oh my god.
Well, again, I will say thank you very much for your time. And what I'll do is I'm not going to necessarily lead you out. You can drop whenever you'd like, or you can stay. We can record the end of the show after if you want to hang out. So this is kind of, I'm going to say thank you and all that stuff, and then we can deal with how it gets presented in the podcast later. I'll deal with all that. So, sure. But I do want to say thank you for your time. I appreciate how gracious you've been. You've been a pleasure to work with. I will tell every person I know because you've been so accessible and so great. And it's just been a pleasure to be able to sit down and talk to you. And it's just it's a surreal thing for someone like myself, and I'm sure Robbie, to sit here and have a conversation with Kano or Baraka or Cabal or whoever it may be, because it's just such a big part of my life and Robbie's and really everybody's here. And I just want to say thank you for that from all of us. So thank you.
Well, like I said, man. Like when we talked earlier, like we got to sit down and like maybe at a show or something, we go out to dinner.
Love it.
You know, and sit around a table and just drink and eat and drink, whatever, and laugh and just like old friends, you know, that's what we got to do.
We'll do it. Drinks around me when I see you, buddy.
We're making that date now. You know, we're going to do that. We'll have a drink now. Well, maybe I'll go have a drink now. It's getting late, but we will do that for sure. So let's do that.
I'll stay in contact with you. I would love that. So thank you so much, man.
Okay, brother.
All right.
All you guys are my brothers now.
That's
Okay,
right.
Now you guys know how crazy I am.
Yep. Well, that's right.
You got our crazy too, Rich.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's a fair trade.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I got to figure out how to turn this thing off. Otherwise, whatever.
It's like programming your VCR.
All right.
Come on, Grandpa.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
just shaved today. I looked like a grandpa earlier.
Shit. All right, later, man.
Okay, all right, talk to you guys.
Thank
Talk to you, Rich. Thanks again.
Rich. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
All right.
Let me.
You want now? You're gonna put me on the video?
I mean, you guys can start your videos all you want now. It just says John Young on the screen right now over here.
How do you start it?
Let's get it.
It's like an intro to a movie. It's like John Young.
Yeah,
Robbie.
get on the video there, jerks.
I don't know.
And
how
now
to
for
do it.
the 2-hour commentary where Robbie tells us about all the things that he just told Rich.
First things first, Valdor just said if I'm buying that he's in. Well, Valdor, I'll tell you this. If you make the trip from Fargo to any convention that we're at and then we hang out, beers are on me, buddy. So yeah.
I can't start my video because the host disabled it.
Oh, hold
Yeah,
on.
same
Let me
here.
go fix that. Let me see what I can do here.
You disabled me.
I love that. I think Valdor was actually in the original Pit Fighter.
Oh yeah, what role did he play?
So much Pit Fighter inside joke that was confusing that guy. He was like, "What?"
I didn't mean to. No. He talked about. Sorry, just quick aside. This can be cut out of the podcast as well. He talked about Pit Fighter as kind of an origin in one of the videos that I watched. So I was trying to make that connection to say that, like, because he said, like, you know, that passion wasn't there. You couldn't see, like, it wasn't lining up right, but you could see those guys had sparred before, and that, like, there was a lot of, I mean, like, they knew how to react to each other's movements. That's one thing that I didn't bring up because no reason to. The man was doing great telling his own stories. But my dad taught martial arts throughout my whole childhood, Kung Fu, 5 Animal style, different than, I can't remember, 7 Star.
Yeah, he said it, yeah. Hey, Robbie,
But,
rotate to landscape.
There's my MK2 banner right there.
Rotate to landscape. It'll fill you in. There you go.
For Richard, who's not probably watching.
No, I'm sure he's not at
come
this
on.
point. There you go.
That's not
He may watch back later.
There you go. There's my MK2 banner. Boom.
Well, yeah. So the guy in the booth across from us, Lance from Game Exchange in Madison,
Yeah.
he kept walking back and forth with it open, and I'm like, what is he doing? And I realized he was getting it autographed. I walked over to talk to him later. I'm like, dude, I saw you walking back and forth with this banner. Is it for sale or something? He goes, no, that's mine. I was just getting it autographed by everybody, so that was fun.
And then here's my autographed Ed Boon comic I talked about earlier.
Fancy.
That, a play tester from on MK3 gave to me because he had to stack them in his basement, and he was like, "Hey, you want one of these piece of shit?" And I was like, "Yes, please."
As a matter of fact, I do.
There you go.
I'll take a dozen,
Some
please.
Visual. Oh, and my MK3 side art. It's a decal that would go on a conversion cabinet
The decal.
of an actual arcade cabinet.
I have one, but it's in worse condition.
Is that in the bathroom?
No, I'm in my game room. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was joking. They used to have the Mortal Kombat posters all over the bathroom.
I might as well.
The LGN
Yeah, no
credits are weird.
shit. Yeah, the LGN credits are weird, says Sean. They sure are. That was a lot of fun, man. It really was surreal. Like I was playing the game as Kano, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which I never do, right? And I was like, let me learn how to play.
He's an awkward character to play in that game. I mean, I don't know.
He's not too bad, actually. But I'm just like, I hated him. And that's why I didn't play him in 3, because I hated him so much in 1. I would never play as him in 1. And it was just a surreal thing to just be sitting there talking to the guy that was him. And it was neat. He was a good guy. And I believe him. Like, he just seems like a good dude. So.
Yeah, he seems pretty genuine guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now what do we do? We just stop the podcast, or
so
what?
I think what I'm going to have to do is I have to at least record. We got to talk a little bit because the next time we're scheduled to get together is actually supposed to be a week that I am not available. So the
It
third,
sounds like it's me and Robbie and John.
then do it.
All right,
Fine by
let's
me.
go.
You guys want to talk about Streets Rage without me, which I will not let you do.
Oh,
Then
too fucking bad.
yeah, well, get in. See if you can get in here and figure out how this shit all works.
I got keys.
Jay's
That's
good.
right here.
There he is. What's up, buddy?
That's Rocco.
So,
Nice.
so yeah, I would say we were supposed to get together on the 3rd, but I will be out of town until the 4th, which I'll probably come see on the 3rd and 4th, by the way, Robbie. But I would
go
say
see them biscuits.
I gotta.
I hope
So
so.
I'm gonna have to beat you 8 times in a row in MK2 like I did Jay. The other
Yeah,
night.
he smoked me. It was pretty bad.
I guess we'll find out.
It was pretty bad.
I hope you guys had fun, man. I know you dipped out pretty early because you had a long day at work, but it's still.
Oh no, dude, it was a blast. We both had a great time, and that I
Cool.
work with went with me over to hang out with Robbie, so it was
Yeah.
cool.
Got me this shirt. Biscuits,
right.
baby. Wherever, there we are.
Yeah. I showed that our band off to Jay when I was there.
That shit
The-
is
the
so
house
good.
band.
There's the few things I love more in life than that animatronic band when they are Rough or Biscuits or like he texted me the video. I'm like, oh, you should see their progressive rock side project,
Yeah,
Rough. It's amazing.
Yeah, they did. We did a Rough one. That's when we unveiled the Rush pinball machine. It was like a whole party.
Yeah.
And then Rough played.
That's awesome. I love it. So yeah, that shit is so cool. I'm like, we need that here. Like any one of those here, although it would creep the shit out of me while I was working all day. Just the sitting there staring at me. But no, so what I'm gonna do is I think we gotta just do a quick lead out so I can wrap up the actual show. So we're gonna do like a wrap up. And I think right now we're supposed to do it on the 3rd. How would you feel about doing it on the 10th instead of waiting 2 more weeks after and then doing one on the 17th?
I don't know. Just tell me when I need to. talk
Okay,
about
May
the game.
10th. May 10th?
Sure. For what
John,
game?
Streets of Rage
May
2.
10th, I'm off that week, but I can make it the
Oh, we're doing
podcast.
Streets of Rage 2? Fuck yeah, man. That's a good game.
So you can make time
Worst
for
music ever.
yeah. What?
Oh my god.
Who made
you're
that
gonna
gay
get banned.
soundtrack?
No,
No.
that music's phenomenal.
It
You're
is.
gonna get banned.
Cut that.
Yeah, I will because I said it was also who said that gay shit or something. Anyway, okay, so we're good on May 10th. Rage the Streets of Rage 2, and then we'll just do a regular lead out. I don't think we have to do any of the other segments like collecting or anything like that. Like I have plenty to talk about, but I think we'll just catch up on it when we do the show
You
next.
want to just skip it out to the next one?
Yeah, what do you? That's probably the move. So it's already 2+ hours, and I want to keep it centric to Rich and all that stuff. So yeah.
How did you get our video screens and this little PVM monitor?
Magic.
Because I'm a badass and
magic.
AV cables.
basic. Yeah.
Movie
It's just
magic.
it's all composite. So no, I just put the TV up there. That's that Panasonic monitor TV, right? And I took the Zoom video, and you can just kind of move it wherever you want. You put it as a source and bring it in, and I could move it. So I just oriented it so it looked like it was sitting inside of the
Clever.
television. My thought originally was to put it on the one next to Jay, but it was too far and too small. And I had thought about doing this, and John was like, well, what, do you have a TV? Could you move the TV up there? I'm like, no, but I have another one that would work. And it just kind of fit the aesthetic. So yeah, I think this is kind of how we could do that going forward with anybody else that comes on video. So yeah.
There was one moment where it kind of autofocused a bit, but it was maybe for about 2 seconds, and it was
It's
perfectly
gonna
fine
happen.
as far as I saw.
It's going to happen. It's just part of like how that camera works. And so, but can Bubble Bobble make it to a show? We'll go get Bubble Bobble on. I'll get Robin.
Only-
What's their names?
Only Bub and Bob.
Bub and Bob, yeah. Pit. We already did Pit Fighter. You get Sidewalk Jim out of here.
Oh shit!
Let me see that reg card. Let's see it, baby. What you got?
It's in there, God, dude. It's in here, baby.
I believe you. So, but yeah.
Look at
So,
it.
I think what we'll do
It's
is.
underneath. Oh, it's, oh yeah.
I
Underneath that manual
just
right
leave it to
there.
me in your will.
The one question I really wanted to ask was if they ever hang out with the Street Fighter 2 characters, like the mocap for Street Fighter 2.
that was a question I wanted to ask too, and we didn't get to it. Like, hey, do you
That's
guys
fine.
ever hang out with Ryu or Ken or Guile?
Chun-Li.
Where's Guile live? Yeah, Chun Li.
You
She's
dated Chun-Li back in the 90s.
yeah. What's Chun Li like in real life?
So does that mean he was hanging out with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Yeah,
Like
maybe.
the Street Fighter, the
Yeah, I was
movie
about to say,
characters?
but hypothetically, they could hang out because if they hung out the Street Fighter the movie actors that were digitized for the game, then they can still do that.
Yeah, maybe.
Gomez Adams, you can't.
Yeah,
Mm.
he's,
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't
Eh,
mean to
it's
bring
okay.
everything down.
I think it's good. It's been long enough. It's okay to make that joke.
yeah, it's fair. So-
and Retro Bobby did ask about which scenes
Scene?
can we look at to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
I will
That
ask.
is a
Rich
good-
to Disney.
that is a good question.
I will
Shit,
ask,
that
for
one-
sure.
I'm kind of curious now.
Nope, I will definitely
So
ask.
Wait. So Liu Kang from the original MK game is Raphael in the Turtles movie?
He
So,
was the stunt coordinator.
He was the
right?
stunt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, they called him to do it, and then
Okay.
I think somebody else ended up getting it, and then yeah.
You and me both,
Okay.
Rob. I'm beat.
Yeah.
So let me
Yeah.
wrap up the show. I'm gonna let's if you guys can drop and Jay and I'll just do the outro and then yeah, that's it.
all right. I will drop.
See
Bye,
guys.
boys.
You gotta
Thank
figure
you.
this out. It's the first time. I'm
Bye.
just gonna sign off.
I'm ending the call. There you are, John. Now we got rid of Robbie. So no. All right. See ya. Bye. Okay. So now we got to do an outro. Well, that was informative.
That's it.
That was pretty cool, man.
That was.
What a good
It was
guy.
nice of him to get on.
Yeah, it was just he seemed very interested in talking. Like I said, when we met at Midwest Gaming Classic, and Rich just seemed like a very good dude, and he's been super approachable. Just what I said, right? Just an easy to work with, and just I was just happy he was interested in being on. So it's really
Yeah, it was really cool.
cool
It
experience.
was nice to have him on.
So now that that's behind us, what are we doing next?
We're going to interview.
Robbie and John. Why can't I say
G-
Robbie and John?
I was like, who is Gian?
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
We are going to do Streets of Rage 2.
And what platform would you play that on?
The NES. I'm just kidding. The
Psych.
Sega Genesis.
Very good. And then when will we be doing that?
We will do that May 10th.
Yeah, so May 3rd, I will be actually in Chicago and unable to record.
Likely story.
It's unfortunately true.
Okay.
But I will be back the following week. So May 10th, 3 weeks from today, we will do Streets of Rage 2 for the Sega Genesis. Now, how can the people listening to us now find us?
Well, I hope Valdor's here because we have a link tree. And it is linkter.ee/Lost Joystick.
Correct.
And for the layperson, we also have our individual social media links, which is Instagram and Twitter is a Lost Joystick. Facebook and Twitch is Lost Joystick Network. And we got an email address.
Yeah.
info@lostjoystick.com.
You know, I get to say that.
I'm going to say that again, actually. It's info@lostjoysticknetwork.com.
You know, I got to say that.
What? That works. I think it's pretty accurate there.
I was looking for a reason to use it the whole time, but I just felt like I would disorient Rich. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to use that. But all right.
You know,
So-
it was great. In all honesty, though, it was nice. Thank you, Rich, for being on. That was awesome. We appreciate it. I feel like we have a new friend now.
I agree.
Great guy.
I agree. Welcome in my home anytime.
Yes.
So awesome. Well, oops. I gotta fade it in. I always have it up because I'm worried it's not gonna be, you know how it be. All right, let me try that again. So I'm gonna say with all that, thank you to Rich Divizio, aka Kano, Baraka, Cabal, Quan Chi, Shang Tsung. The list goes on. So go out there, have fun, be safe, and be excellent to each other. All right.
That's a wrap.
It
That was good.
was good.
It was good. He was really nice.
I agree. He was exactly who he was when I met him and when I've talked to him the whole time. It was really cool. So, you know, we got enough time. You want to follow me back to the house? We can go play some Mortal Kombat if you're interested. It's only 9:20. Just saying. You're usually over till like fucking midnight and shit. We got lots of time.
We got lots of time. Oh, no, I think I might. Yeah, we'll hang out here for a few and then I'll help you get picked up and then we'll peace out.
So that's a no. No,
Yeah.
on the Mortal Kombat. I'm gonna go home and play it. Fuck you.
All right,
Send you a picture of me doing it.
that's fine.
Here's me beating the game with Kano. Then we can tag Matteo.
He was so annoyed when I posted that one to Robbie.
Oh yeah, he's always annoyed.
So, have you been to Logan before?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's when I first met Robbie.
It was nice. It was really cool.
It's a cool place. I like it. Did you see
just
the
go
wall?
in and were you like, who the fuck is walking around here with a mustache playing Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, where's Mustache Mortal Kombat guy? Because I'm here to fuck him up.
And he whipped around. He was like, that'd be me.
Did you see the wall of CRTs when you first? It's still there when you first walk in on the left. You go through the little narrow entrance, and then to the left there was, maybe it's not there anymore, but they had an installation of a bunch of CRT TVs. It might have just been a
they
Halloween
had,
thing.
what did they have? They have a little nook or a little room where they had he said they rotate a pinball game in there, and they put it on free play, and that's like the game of the week or month or whatever. And then next to that, they actually had Tapper. I played Tapper for a few minutes.
Was it the root beer tapper or
No,
was it the
Tapper.
Budweiser?
It was Tapper. It was Budweiser.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
played that and
I hate that
pinball
game.
parlor. That's what it was. Yeah, Robbie said the wall's not there anymore.
Okay, very good. It's been
I
a
played
minute.
Crazy Taxi, and then
I saw that.
Robbie and I played Alien versus Predator for a few.
I got a great picture of you playing Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, it was Robbie flipping me off on the back of my
It's
head.
a good one. It's a good one.
Oh, he said Tappers where the CRTs were.
Very good. Okay.
What? There was a couple other games there. Ghouls and Ghosts was there, or Ghosts and Goblins,
Yeah.
which we didn't play because that game's a nightmare even for the arcade.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there was something else there. What else was there, Robbie? He's behind.
I don't know.
I played Space Harrier. Yeah, Robbie
You
got
played a Sega game?
Robbie got Space Harrier up and running like just before I got there. So I played the shit out of it.
Gross.
Satan's Hollow, that was what it was.
Oh, yes.
Ugh.
Danzig's favorite record or
Yeah.
arcade.
So, but yeah,
Very
I played
nice.
Space Harrier. I actually had the top score in Space Harrier.
Wow.
I'm sure it's gone now. It was like 300,000 or 3 million or whatever.
Whatever.
It wasn't very high.
Hey, man, whatever.
So. Yeah, Robbie and I played. We played Mortal Kombat quite a bit. I got wrecked. He's pretty good at Mortal Kombat too.
Yeah, I know he is.
I'm not. So
Yeah.
I think I kind of held my own. I did okay.
He said you were like, you let me win that round.
I did.
He was like,
yeah,
no, I
there was-
didn't.
I beat him like one round, and I was like, you let me win.
Yeah, well.
Oh yeah, we played Third Strike. He wrecked me on Third Strike. I was terrible on that candy cab.
We'll get a.
That cabinet is awesome too. I was so mad at myself. It was weird because the controller is like in the middle, and I'm not making excuses. I sucked it up. Robbie fucking kicked my ass.
Yeah.
But I was like turned because I'm trying to pull back on the controller, and at one point I'm ducking, and then at one point I'm just standing there, and I'm like, what is going on? I can't fucking block. And Robbie's like, maybe the controller's fucked up. So he comes over and he goes, you suck. Because we like switched sides. And he was just like, this thing's fine.
It seems to be the problem seems to be following you.
Because of course, Robbie's the gatekeeper all these games. So he's like, fuck, man, is my game fucked up? And then he's like, no, you're fucking stupid.
You just trash at it. It's not anything other than you suck.
Yeah. He destroyed me on it. Like when we played at Galloping Ghost, it was pretty close.
Yes.
We went three full games.
Yeah.
And this, wasn't even, not even,
Yeah.
just destroyed me.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Well, have
Then
him
we
come
played
visit.
War Gods.
We'll get. Oh God.
We had to try those 3D buttons out. It was fun.
I'm sure it was a blast.
I think we played it once.
It was like playing Darius 4-player. So much fun.
No, that was more fun.
It had to have been. All right, we good? You want to wrap up? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up.
You need to wrap that gavel up, Judge. All right. Well, we're out of here. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. And, we'll get this and the other episode posted soon. I've
Yeah.
been so busy. I got to get them up. But
Yeah.
we are out. Have a good evening. Bye.